Do you think they're out there? They're out there, all right. Their award-winning client service is beyond anything I've ever experienced. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
ABC Radio presents Made in America with David Muir. Brought to you by Advance Auto Parts.
It's the blue and yellow can, a household staple made right here in America. WD-40.
Everybody has a can in their house.
Orlando Moreno at WD-40 headquarters in San Diego. The secret formula, nearly the same since it was invented more than 60 years ago.
It's a special thing.
CEO Gary Ridge, business doubling in the last 10 years, now sold around the country and around the world in 176 countries. This is World News Tonight's David Muir. That's Made in America.
One of the two people who made undercover videos of Planned Parenthood workers turned herself in after being indicted. ABC's Mark Remillard has the latest.
Sandra Merritt was offered a choice to plead guilty to charges that she tampered with a government record and receive probation or face the possibility of 20 years in prison. Her attorney, Dan Cogdell.
I don't care if you were pro-life. I don't care if you were pro-choice. I don't care if you were pro-bowler. This case is dumber than a bucket of hair.
Merritt is facing charges after releasing undercover videos claiming Planned Parenthood was illegally selling fetal tissue, in which she and her counterpart David Delayden allegedly used fake IDs to get into the clinic. A grand jury cleared Planned Parenthood but indicted Merritt and Delayden. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
A teaser has been released for the upcoming Friends reunion and a tribute show to James Burrows. In an interview promoting it, cast members were caught off guard when the interviewer asked if they all had to sign contracts promising not to sleep with each other during the production of the show. After a long pause, Lisa Kudrow said, "David, say something." Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. 10 Washington counties, including Clallam, Grays Harbor, Lewis, and Mason, will receive federal assistance in connection with a December storm system that produced heavy rains, high winds, flooding, and landslides. The declaration makes available FEMA's public assistance program for the 10 counties and provides grants for hazard mitigation efforts statewide. Governor Jay Inslee thanked President Obama for quickly approving the major disaster declaration request. He says the storm resulted in damage in excess of $19 million. The first month of 2016 in Shelton marked a significant increase in crimes involving illegal firearms and guns being left in vehicles. According to Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody, 3 separate gun-related arrests were made. Moody credits the arrests to citizens and neighbors calling regarding suspicious activity. He is also encouraging residents to keep the streets and officers safe by practicing proper gun safety and storage. Dick Taylor and John Dobson from the Port of Shelton stopped by Daybreak to share a big announcement regarding the revitalization of the waterfront of Shelton.
Brandon Palmer came in and he's talking about the marina overhaul project down there, and this Oakland Bay project. The project has just received a $1 million grant.
Wow.
From the federal government, which brings up the total grant dollars now to 2.65?
Something like that.
Yeah, $2.5 million that we've got so far.
So what does that mean for the revitalization project?
We're looking at redoing that end of Oakland Bay. And it's we can't restore it to what it was years ago, but we can make it better for salmon enhancement growth, replacing some of the old cruddy stuff that's down there left over from years of logging, working in the logging business on the waterfront there, cleaning that up, cleaning up the waterfront itself, putting in a new boat ramp, just beautifying it, put some trails in to make the area accessible for the public.
The project will take 5 to 6 years to complete and around $8 million total. Once complete, they say it will change the whole face of downtown Shelton. Beth Snyder of Shelton is set for her coronation as Miss NPRA on February 13th. The coronation and fundraiser for Snyder starts with the doors opening at 5 p.m. in the Shelton Civic Center. Dinner follows at 6. The event includes live and silent auctions. NPRA, or Northwest Professional Rodeo Association, supports the sport of rodeo through continued growth in rodeos and membership and providing humane and competitive entertainment for the Northwest. For iFIBER ONE Newsradio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
The craziness is returning to the kennel.
Wiltshire behind his back with a dribble, and he scores. Got Karnowski to his left, pulls up, shoots, scores, and a foul.
Zags basketball from IMG.
Corner, Nelson driving baseline and a two-handed throw down dunk. Oh my goodness, Silas Nelson.
From tip-off to the final buzzer.
And throws it down with two hands.
Follow the action all season long on your home for Bulldogs basketball, the Gonzaga IMG Sports Network.
Ascend Roofing Company in Shelton's on top of it. 868-2730. Roofing work that speaks for itself.
Just a note to express our appreciation for restoring our faith in a handshake. You did what you said you would, and that's all anyone can expect.
We truly appreciate the work that was done. And your son Ryan is a wonderful representative of your company. Thank you again for making the gutters clean and our roof moss resistant.
You could be the next happy customer by calling Ascend Roofing. 868-2730. Well, good Thursday morning to you. I'm Jeff Slakey, and it is Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio, along with Carol Gardner this morning. Hello.
Good morning.
We have got a sports report for you forthcoming, a great show with a ton of guests. But first, let's find out what's in the forecast as people are getting ready to start their day.
Some light rain and about 41.
Light rain, and it was a little light rain this morning.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good morning to you. It is Daybreak here. I'm Jeff Slakey, and in sports, the University of Wisconsin says Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson will return to Madison this spring to give the school's commencement address. Wilson spent his final college season at Wisconsin after starring for 3 seasons at North Carolina State. University says Wilson will speak to graduates at Camp Randall Stadium on May 14th. Start getting used to this, Carol. Mariners news. We're close.
Yeah. We are close.
Seattle Mariners have signed Korean slugger Dae-Ho Lee and catcher Steve LaRude to minor league contracts 2 weeks before the start of spring training. Yeah, 2 weeks before the start of spring training. It's coming up quick. Lee, a first baseman, has spent his past 4 seasons playing in Japan with the Oryx Buffaloes and the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. Last season, Lee hit .282 with 31 homers, 98 ribbies in 141 games with the SoftBank Hawks. Ryan Anderson scored a career-high 31 points, grabbed 12 boards to lead number 23 Arizona over a 79-64 victory over Washington State last night. And DeJounte Murray scored a career-high 34 and grabbed 11 boards before fouling out in overtime. Andrew Andrews hit his first of 2 field goals of the game in the extra session, and Washington pulled away for a 95-83 win over Arizona State last night. It was signing day yesterday, and some of the South Sound athletes that had a great day signing their letter of intent to head out to college. Lindsay Corey from Shelton for fast pitch has agreed with the Olympic College, and Grace Phelan from Shelton has agreed to go to Evergreen for women's soccer. We got a whole bunch of these that we'll share throughout the morning here on Daybreak, but at 6:11, here's Carol with the weather.
Good morning. It's 41. Rain this morning and throughout today and tomorrow. Highs near 50. The weekend looks to be partly cloudy with a high of 51 on Saturday and 55 on Sunday. Right now it's 41.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Yeah, 6:11, and a good morning to you. It is Daybreak here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Coming up today, Deb Riley from Mason County Public Health will be in to talk about apparently there are some unlicensed contractors or people, like let's say they're contractors coming in and doing work on homes, but they're unlicensed. And you can't do that. You need to be, you get to the proper certifications and things like that. So Deb will come in and talk to us about the safety aspects of that. And if we have time, we'll talk with her a little bit about this Zika virus, which has been spreading like wildfire. Literally, now there's a case in Georgia that we'll tell you about. Allison Malushnik coming in from the Asset Building Coalition. She'll be in at 8:15. Sean Wells at 8:30 for a check on sports over this week and what's coming up this weekend. And then Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody will be in for the Focus on Shelton at 8:45, brought to you by our Community Credit Union. He'll be talking about that story we just heard from Mary Lynn Foster about kind of an increase in gun theft and stuff like that. That's all coming up next here on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
I'm Ari Wolf with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Peyton Manning has been stiff-arming retirement speculation in the lead-up to Super Bowl 50, concentrating instead on enjoying this experience. And his boss is good with his QB's mindset. Broncos GM John Elway told the Denver Post he's got plenty of time, whatever time he needs. I think it's never going to be a quick decision. You don't want it to be. It's one that's going to change his life, and it's always a hard decision, so we'll give him plenty of time. Both the Broncos and Panthers practice on Wednesday in preparation for the Super Bowl. Broncos safeties Darian Stewart and TJ Ward were both limited. The same for Panthers defensive end Jared Allen. Carolina linebacker Thomas Davis was a full participant even with his forearm injury. All this week, nobody gets you closer to Super Bowl 50 than NFL Network, with more than 88 hours of live coverage, insider access, and the most game day coverage anywhere. Super Bowl week, all this week on NFL Network. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Oh, fresh powder. I'll get the skis.
Ugh, I can't.
Winter nasal congestion. Is it A, cold, B, sinus pressure, C, allergies?
I'm not sure.
For all of the above, the answer is D, Allegra D, a maximum strength decongestant plus a powerful non-drowsy antihistamine for 24 hours of relief. Feel better?
Yep. Feel like racing?
This winter, the answer is Allegra D. Look for Allegra D at the pharmacy counter. Use as directed.
Geico applauds your inner happy camper. A merit badge of awesomeness goes out to the part of you that wants to put the recreation in recreational vehicle. The part of you that packs up everything and everybody in the RV and says, let's get this show on the road. Because Geico has specialized agents who help save money on more than just car insurance. Geico will insure that entire RV, so you can get the s'more making, poison ivy dodging, same song singing, ghost storytelling, campfire building, best time you ever had with your family, show on the road. Geico for your RV. See how much you could save.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Well, good morning to you. 6:15 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Jeff Slakey and Carol Gardner. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing not too shabby.
Not too shabby. So, not too shabby. Not too shabby. Shabby chic or?
I'm always shabby chic. Chic more than nothing. Mm-hmm. Kaiser had a dentist appointment yesterday. Oh my goodness. He's got 12. How many teeth do you have in your mouth?
32.
That's what I thought too. I don't know if that's right, but that's what I thought. So he's at 12 with 4 coming in within the next minute, it feels like.
I thought so. So he's teething is what they.
That is what they call it. Yeah.
And so what does Jeff do when the teething?
So what Jeff does when the teething starts happening, he puts in his earplugs and rolls over. No, that's not what I do. And Stephanie and I, we have some like acetaminophen, baby acetaminophen, like baby aspirin stuff that you can give him because he's over the certain amount of age where you can do that. And then they have these kind of natural teething tablets, which seem to work really well. But it always, he's in pretty good spirits during the daytime. And then at nighttime, it really seems like that's when stuff starts happening. Your body starts growing and does whatever it needs to do. And so, we'll have some cries in the middle of the night. But these are like, so I don't remember getting my teeth in. I don't know if you do.
I don't remember. So he has 11?
He's 12 now.
Okay, so
with 4 on the way.
And then 4 more, because there's, because there's about 20 for baby teeth.
Okay.
So you only have...
so I only have to get to 20.
Yeah.
Oh, phew. Stephanie, you hear that? Kaiser, you're almost done. That is
Almost.
great news.
Yeah, great news. And then, how old is he?
He's 18, 19
Yeah,
months.
and then it's
like
a
that.
terrible too. So,
And then I hear that, that's
and you're just heading right into it.
It's just really fun to talk about that kind of stuff. I learned a lot about cavities that I didn't know. I've never had a cavity, and so I was asking all these questions about how it's transmitted and things like that, and it's bacteria. And I said, so who cares if he gets a cavity, because he's got the baby teeth; they're going to go away anyways. And the dentist explained to me what the whole process was, that it can kind of jump from tooth. It's a bacteria. It's really interesting.
So stop feeding him candy. Listen,
it barely he can't even get to the candy. I block it.
I can't believe you don't have any cavities for all the candy and sugar you eat.
I know.
Are you sure you don't have any cavities, or you just go to the dentist?
If you talk to Stephanie, she thinks that my dentist is a hack because I've never had one, and I do eat a lot of candy.
Yeah, so you need to go to a dentist probably.
I do. I go every 6 months, and I've never had a problem like that.
Well, that's good news. So I guess I don't wish it on you.
Thank you very much. Coming up tomorrow on the show, Jerry Apple and our good friend Rachel are coming back to the station. They're from the SAD Club, and you can eat for a good cause on February 20 at the Shelton High School Students Against Destructive Decisions Spaghetti Feed and Silent Auction fundraising event, which benefits the Shelton Relay for Life, begins at 5:30 at Shelton High School. And it is at the Student Union Building. We'll also hear from the Shelton High School Band and Daryl White's ukulele group. $10 donation recommended. And again, Jerry will be in and on the air with Rachel and Carol and I tomorrow morning on Daybreak. Also, Beth Snyder's in the news again. And we know Beth from junior rodeo days, but she's going to be Miss NPRA. Is that right?
That's what it looks like. She's set for a coronation on February 13th as Miss NPRA. And it's also going to be a fundraiser for Snyder, and it's going to be at the Shelton Civic Center at 6 p.m. On February 13th.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Very cool. So she was in here, wasn't she in here with a couple of...
a couple of years ago.
There's a picture on the wall of her somewhere.
Oh, what fun.
Yeah. And right now she's a student at Central Washington University. So.
Well, fingers crossed that we can have a rodeo again in this area this upcoming summer.
I haven't gotten any new information on that yet.
That would be really...
We will keep you informed.
That'd be really great. And I had a great time when we went. Now, I wasn't participating in that wild cow milking. I held the trophy after the other people won it for us. But
so those are you had your... stuntmen go out there and do the actual
we
thing.
found some
then you
folks
got
who
the
are way better than us, and but just watching those rodeos are so much fun. Google says, Carol, it's going to begin testing its self-driving cars up in Kirkland. This is under the regional tab on iFIBER1newsradio.com. Seattle suburb will become the third city to see vehicles on its streets sans drivers. The company has previously tested self-driving cars in Mountain View, California. That's where Google's based. And then in, keep it weird, Austin, Texas. Google said in a statement Wednesday that its test drivers have been driving a single Lexus SUV in an area of Kirkland, making detailed maps of the streets. The company said when the self-driving car begins operations, there will be a test driver in the vehicle to take over if needed. Google does have a very large campus in Kirkland, and Kirkland is about 12 miles east of Seattle. The company has concluded that human error is the biggest danger in driving, and the company wants to remove the steering wheel and pedals from cars of the future, giving people minimal ability to intervene. Boy, that would be nerve-wracking to be in a car, sitting in the driver's seat, and there's no wheel and no pedals.
Did you watch the horrible movie Hot Tub Time Machine 2?
No, I saw the original. I thought it was pretty funny.
The original was actually really funny. Hot Tub Time Machine 2, I guess they just maybe were under contract or they just wanted to do it, but it was I do not recommend it.
Why did you even watch it?
Because sometimes you just have to watch something that is ridiculous. Anyways, my point is they had self-driving cars in the future. In 2025, everybody was but the cars could think for themselves.
Oh, yikes.
And then they would just sort of show up when you needed a car. And then if they thought you were detrimental to society, they could decide if they would take you out or not.
So they get you and analyze.
Yeah, they would. They would totally analyze. Angry, violent, should we take this person out?
And so then the car would hit them?
The car could go search for them, driving safely, of course.
Well, I don't know about that latter part you were talking about.
Sort of funny, but, self-driving cars, everybody's talking about AI, that they're going to get us.
The latest update for those Teslas. Now, I don't know about that last part you were talking about analyzing our whatever, but the new software on the new Teslas have an ability. You push a button and the car will come to you.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It's like on demand, like you were just.
Jeff, you seem shabby today. What's going on? Go in and change your shirt.
Go in, they won't even let you. The car doors will be locked. Don't come in here till you look better. I can see that happening. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
If you're looking for a new venue to watch your favorite sports, come check out the El Serape Cantina. Take in the classy Day of the Dead ambiance and enjoy your favorite sports on the large projector screen or 4K Ultra HD TVs. Warm up by the fire or shoot some pool on the beautifully crafted pool tables. Join the Cantina for Dollar Taco Tuesdays and bring out your inner rock star on Karaoke Wednesdays. With so much to offer, the Cantina is the place to be. Located on Railroad in downtown Shelton, right next to the El Serape restaurant.
Peninsula Credit Union presents Phil. Phil stands for Peninsula Home Improvement Loan. Designed to help you get things done around the house, Phil can help you a little or a lot. This is not a second mortgage. With a Peninsula Home Improvement Loan, you can get 7.24% APR on a 60-month loan or 7.49% APR for 120 months. From replacing the roof to new flooring and everything home-related in between, take advantage of a Peninsula Home Improvement Loan and Phil will help you get the job done. Call Peninsula Credit Union today. 800-426-1601. That's 800-426-1601. Or apply online at pcfcu.org. OAC. See representatives for details. Limited time offer. Additional terms and conditions may apply. Annual percentage rate is effective as of June 11th, 2014. Loan amounts from $500 to $15,000. Terms available from 60 months up to 120 months. For payment examples, call 800-426-1601.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom31.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom31.com. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom31.com.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Good morning to you. It is Daybreak here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. AM 1030 and FM 103.3. I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner.
Good morning.
Is your earphones loud or no?
They're not too loud, but I can't. Yeah, now I can hear.
There we go.
Okay.
It's an interesting story, and now we're putting two pieces of information together to see if this makes sense. Again, from our regional tab, the number of uninsured people in Washington state has been cut in half since healthcare reform took effect, but the state insurance commissioner's office reported Wednesday there are still about 500,000 uninsured people in the state. Now, the great state of Washington holds currently
Well, 2014, though, that's the latest that I have. Over 7 million people,
So you're saying that those 7 million, maybe 7.5
maybe it's
now.
not. It must not be counting children, though. I'm guessing
I don't know, but if there's 7.5 million people
in 2014
in Washington, and there are just 500,000 people left uninsured, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that does sound pretty good.
It sounds a little too good to be true.
Well, I wonder how many people, children, I suppose under the age of 21 or 18. When do you have to buy insurance starting as a person without being on your own parents?
It was 24. Under the Affordable Care Act, it was 24, 25, I think.
Okay, so, I mean, that sounds pretty good. But Washington's one of the leading states because we have the Medicare or Medicaid expansion.
Insurance Commissioner Mike Kreidler says Washington has clearly made significant progress thanks to the ACA, the state's decision also to expand access to free insurance through Medicaid. Kreidler notes that some of the 20 states that have not expanded access to the Medicaid program are now trying to do so, and the feds are paying for the program that has helped states like Washington dramatically cut the ranks of the uninsured. Kreidler notes that the states do not expand Medicaid. The working poor who aren't insured at work have to choose between paying the federal fine or buying insurance they can't really afford. And that fine, is that $700 thing that I saw on the TV commercials?
It's
for the year.
Yeah, it's not a straight fee. It's based on your income, on how much you'd be charged.
Okay. Love politics season, and it's going on deep, and every day for the next, 30, 45 days or so, we are going to be hearing about new bills that are coming to light, these proposals that could become law eventually. And Carol, the House panel is considering free tuition, and in the Senate, they're talking about their K through 12 funding.
Yeah, supposedly it would make community and technical college tuition free for anyone who doesn't already have a bachelor's degree. It also helps some students pay for books and other expenses.
Well, hold on 1 second. I saw on Reddit yesterday that the cost of the price of a college textbook, over the last, we'll say 10 years, just for the sake of argument, has gone up 82%. The cost of other regular goods, 28%.
Well, how much? My books were like $40 when I was in.
Mine were like $100. Yeah.
Okay, so $40, $50. Yeah.
Expensive.
Yeah. Used books.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. 10 Washington counties, including Clallam, Grays Harbor, Lewis, and Mason, will receive federal assistance in connection with the December storm system that produced heavy rains, high winds, flooding, and landslides. The declaration makes available FEMA's public assistance program for the 10 counties and provides grants for hazard mitigation efforts statewide. Governor Jay Inslee thanked President Obama for quickly approving the major disaster declaration request. He says the storm resulted in damage in excess of $19 million. The first month of 2016 in Shelton marked a significant increase in crimes involving illegal firearms and guns being left in vehicles. According to Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody, 3 separate gun-related arrests were made. Moody credits the arrests to citizens and neighbors calling regarding suspicious activity. He is also encouraging residents to keep the streets and officers safe by practicing proper gun safety and storage. Dick Taylor and John Dobson from the Port of Shelton stopped by Daybreak to share a big announcement regarding the revitalization of the waterfront of Shelton.
Brandon Palmer came in and he's talking about the marina overhaul project down there, and this Oakland Bay project. The project has just really received a $1 million grant.
Wow.
From the federal government, which brings up the total grant dollars now to $2.65?
Something like that.
Yeah, $2.5 million that we've got so far.
So what does that mean for the revitalization project?
We're looking at redoing that end of Oakland Bay. And it's we can't restore it to what it was years ago, but we can make it better for salmon enhancement, growth, replacing some of the old cruddy stuff that's down there left over from years of logging, working in the logging business on the waterfront there, cleaning that up, cleaning up the waterfront itself, putting in a new boat ramp, just beautifying it, put some trails in to make the area accessible for the public.
The project will take 5 to 6 years to complete and around $8 million total. Once complete, they say it will change the whole face of downtown Shelton. Beth Snyder of Shelton is set for her coronation as Miss NPRA on February 13th. The coronation and fundraiser for Snyder starts with the doors opening at 5 p.m. in the Shelton Civic Center. Dinner follows at 6. The event includes live and silent auctions. NPRA, or Northwest Professional Rodeo Association, supports the sport of rodeo through continued growth in rodeos and membership and providing humane and competitive entertainment for the Northwest. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
You know Gillis Auto Center in Shelton for the best deals, best price, best trade, and low payments. Well, it doesn't end there. The Gillis Auto Center service department's now open Saturdays 8 to 4:30. See, we truly want to make it super convenient for you to get your vehicle serviced. Not only Ford, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram trucks, but all makes and models. With our service department open 6 days a week to make it easy for you. Family-owned Gillis Auto Center in Shelton at the City Center Matlock exit and 24/7 at GillisAutoCenter.com.
Curry spices it up in D.C. OKC and the Spurs are winners, and the Seminoles score big on National Signing Day. Hi, everybody. Todd Ant reporting on sports. Steph Curry lighting it up in the nation's capital.
It's a 3-on-2 left side. Curry for 3. Got it. Curry's got 11 threes on the night. That ties his career high, and it prompts a timeout.
On KNBR, Curry scored 51 points in Golden State's 134-121 win over the Wizards for their 8th straight win. John Wall led the Wizards with 41. The Warriors scheduled to be at the White House to meet with the president today. Kevin Durant capped off a 37-point night with this game winner.
Crossing over. Arsenal at 3. Up. Cha-ching! It's on the money ball! Oh, baby! KD did it! Rips the cord. Has 37 points!
On WWLS, Thunder 117, Magic 114. Russell Westbrook posted his 3rd straight triple-double. The Spurs are 27-0 at home this season.
Leonard driving into the paint. Back out to Aldridge. Open 19-footer. Yes, from Kawhi Leonard.
On WOAI, Spurs over the Pelicans 110-97. LaMarcus Aldridge scored 36. The Timberwolves go into Los Angeles and lose to the Lakers Tuesday, but a different outcome last night against the Clippers thanks to Andrew Wiggins.
Bounce it inside to Wiggins. Spins, turnaround, jump shot is good. 31 for Andrew Wiggins. Big-time shot on the baseline.
On WCCO, Wiggins finished with 31. Minnesota snapped a 14-game road skid against the Clippers with a 108-102 victory. It was National Signing Day in college football, and ESPN's recruiting analyst Derek Tyson on Florida State's topping the list of recruits.
Adding guys like Brian Burns to start off the day, then getting a defensive tackle, Shavar Manuel, to flip from Florida. They're our tribal. I mean, that's a huge win when you're able to do that. That was a huge pickup. And then later on in the day, getting guys like Carlos Becker, Dontavius Jackson, Landon Dickerson.
Michigan was the big winner, signing top recruit defensive end Rashawn Gary from New Jersey. College basketball, all the top 25 teams were winners, including Villanova, Maryland, and Iowa. Todd Ant, ABC Sports.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer or a direct-it-yourselfer?
Every weekend, people tell us about overspending on projects they could have handled themselves for lots less money.
And we hear from people who ended up overspending because they tried to do something they should have called in a pro to tackle.
Well, we'll help you sort it out. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Got a remodeling or a repair project?
We can help you decide whether to do it yourself or direct it yourself this weekend on the Money Fit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Good morning to you. It's Daybreak here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. I'm Jeff Slakey and Carol Gardner alongside here at 6:36. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
We've got some big news. It was signing day yesterday. We'll get to some of the kids who signed letters of intent to head on to higher education. First, though, what's the quick look at the forecast for us here?
39 overcast.
Congratulations and good on Lindsay Corey and Grace Phelan from Shelton, who have signed letters of intent. Lindsay with fast pitch to Olympic College and Grace with women's soccer at Evergreen. Some of the other kids in Tumwater, Hunter Haggerty for football, Central Washington, Easton Trackle for Tumwater football, Portland State. Some of the other big ones here, Jocelyn Lindsay, Black Hills, women's soccer at St. Martin's, Van Soderberg, a Capital football player going to UW, Peyton Pollockton from Centralia for fast pitch heading to Eastern Oregon University, and Alyssa Swilley from Olympia going to George Fox University. There are a few more here that we'll talk about throughout the rest of the morning, but that's pretty exciting as kids who have worked so hard in their, they're from youth to now, all through high school, trying to be the best player they can be, and now getting rewarded with a chance to head off to college and play the sport they love. Speaking of a college athlete who kind of was discounted for a little while, he played at North Carolina State for a little bit. Then he played at the University of Wisconsin. He took the Badgers to the Rose Bowl. He took the Seahawks to the Super Bowl twice. That's right, I'm talking about quarterback Russell Wilson. And the University of Wisconsin says Russ will return to Madison this spring to give the school's commencement address. He spent his final college season at Wisconsin after I was just talking about that, 3 seasons at North Carolina State. University says Wilson will speak to graduates at the Camp Randall Stadium on May 14th in beautiful Madison, Wisconsin. It's a great stadium too, by the way, Camp Randall. Feels nice on your feet. Seattle Mariners have signed Korean slugger Dae-Ho Lee and catcher Steve LaRude to minor league contracts 2 weeks before the start of spring training. Start those countdown clocks now. We are getting ready for Mariners baseball here on iFIBER 1, AM 1030 and FM 1033. 6:38 now. We have got for you tonight on iFIBER1newsradio.com, Shelton girls basketball against Foss. And if the Lady Climbers can get a win tonight against the Foss Falcons, they will be one step closer to a potential playoff berth. And I believe their first playoff game, if they get to that point, will be a week from today. Sean Wells will be in at 8:30 to talk with us more about that. Gonzaga basketball on the radio tonight as well. Now, checking the forecast, here's Carol.
Good morning. It's 40 and mostly cloudy, but there'll be rain today and tomorrow. Highs near 50. The weekend looks to be partly cloudy with a high of 51 on Saturday and 55 on Sunday. Right now, it's 40.
Now, from the iFIBER One News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
640 here at iFIBER 1 News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 1033. We'll live the country life in a few moments, and then we'll replay for you the phone call that we had earlier in the week from Rebecca Lawson from the Department of Ecology, talking about the C Street landfill cleanup process that is going to kind of start in earnest Tuesday. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a meeting, public testimony, and you can learn a little more about the project at the Civic Center, and that is upcoming. Also, the story is on iFIBER1newsradio.com. It is 6:40 here at Daybreak, and great guests aplenty throughout the morning here. We'll have Deb Riley coming in at 7:15, Allison Malushnik at 8:15, Sean Wells, as I mentioned, our sports director, at 8:30, and then we'll focus on Shelton with Police Chief Darren Moody to talk about some of the latest news stories that Marilyn Foster has for us at the top of the hour regarding an increase in gun reports with, I want to make sure I get it all right here. Gun crimes are resulting in 3 arrests. The first month of this year marked a significant increase in crimes involving illegal firearms. That's what Chief Darren Moody said. So we'll talk with him about that. Carol, what are you looking at there on the interwebs?
Oh, well, I was just going to bring this up a little later, but we sort of have been talking about technical power grids, all that kind of stuff, throughout whatever. So I guess they're going to vote today on a comprehensive energy bill to update the nation's power grids and oil and gas transportation systems.
Wait a second. You mean who's voting?
Senate on Capitol Hill in D.C.
The lawmakers are voting, actually working on something today?
Yes, yeah.
Holy moly.
So that's what sort of got me like, what? Really? They're finally going to do it? Or
at least vote on it.
Yeah.
May vote on it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there are some issues right now because of the whole Flint water crisis. So they have to resolve that somehow.
Boy, they had a big hearing yesterday. And Elijah Cummings, who's the leading Democrat on that committee there, he was railing because the governor didn't even show up.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Was your weekend too eventful? A friend or family member land themselves in a bit of trouble? Feel like you're stuck in a cell? Casey's Bail Bonds is here to help. Upon arrest, a person must be processed through the local jail, and Casey's Bail Bonds is also local, making the process more efficient and getting you out quicker. Casey's Bail Bonds has been in Washington for over 15 years, and their goal is to provide speedy and professional services. Find them online at caseysbailbonds.com or call 731-2011. Casey's Bail Bonds is located in Kitsap, Clallam, and Mason counties.
Join Hood Canal Lions Club and iFIBER ONE Newsradio for the 7th annual Polar Bear Plunge. All proceeds go to Mason County emergency workers. The fun begins at 11 this Saturday at Alderbrook Resort on beautiful Hood Canal. Here's your chance to help support the emergency workers and volunteers of Mason County. And this year's proceeds will help the Mason County Search and Rescue Dive Unit. Don't miss the 7th annual Hood Canal Lions Polar Bear Plunge.
When agriculture is in a slump, farmers are looking for the next opportunity. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. Survive a down market by finding a niche and produce what you enjoy raising as you're living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
Join the parade headed to New Orleans for the 2016 Commodity Classic, March 3rd through the 5th. It promises to be the jazziest Commodity Classic yet. And this year, the Association of Equipment Manufacturers joins Commodity Classic. That means even more equipment, more technology, more education, and more innovation. If you grow corn, soybeans, wheat, sorghum, or do business with farmers who do, you need to be in New Orleans March 3rd through the 5th. Discover more at CommodityClassic.com. Don't let the 2016 Commodity Classic in New Orleans get by you.
Need new ideas for what to do around your place? Register for a free Living the Country Life newsletter. Once a week, you'll receive helpful tips on key topics such as landscaping, animals and poultry, outdoor improvement projects, recreational activities, and much more. The newsletter delivers the latest trends, alerts you to informational courses, shares what other people are doing on their properties, and provides details about exciting sweepstakes and other contests. Sign up for your free newsletter today by visiting livingthecountrylife.com.
Making a living on a small farm can be tough, and when agriculture is feeling a pinch, profits can be even harder to come by. Don't give up. Do what you're good at, find a niche market, and go for it. Steve Nicholson is with Rabo Agri-Finance. He says consumers are becoming more involved with their food, where it comes from, and what they're putting in their mouth. There's a lot of segmentation on the consumer side, which can be an advantage for producers.
I want free-range chickens. I want free-range eggs. I want organic food. I want non-GMO food. I want fresh food. I think those are where the opportunities, and particularly if you're farmers and you're located near a large metropolitan area, you've got probably a local farmers market, but you also may have retailers who want to buy from local farmers.
Financing a new venture will require a business plan, good financial standing, and perhaps showing that you're doing something unique. But he also notes that it could take some time to pull everything together.
First is just trying to get the market developed and find a market for your product. Also, the question always becomes, I can do it to a farmer's market for 3 or 4 months a year in the summertime, but how can you scale it? And how can you expand that operation, expand the volume so that you can supply a local grocery store chain who will put it in their store today and tomorrow and next week and next month versus when that product's available, not just, well, this is all I have. I've got one tree or, something like that.
Nicholson says he's also seeing a lot more activity in the agri-entertainment sector. Farmers are making money by offering the public their ponds for fishing, their fields for camping, and barns for weddings. Find more tips for surviving a down market at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
All right, good morning to you. 6:48 here at iFIBER One News Radio. Earlier in the week, Carol, good morning to you, Carol.
Good morning.
Earlier in the week, we talked with Rebecca Lawson from the Department of Ecology. We're going to replay a portion of that interview for you now because we think this is an important piece of information about an upcoming meeting Tuesday at 6:30. So here she's talking about the remedial investigation and the subsequent feasibility study as it regards to the C Street landfill cleanup and the upcoming meeting on Tuesday. This event is one of the first steps in exploring the extent and types of contamination at the site and the planning cleanup options that protect human health and the environment. So again, this is from our conversation with Rebecca earlier in the week.
The remedial investigation, as it sounds, will explore the presence and extent of any contamination at the landfill, and then the feasibility study will evaluate what cleanup options may be applicable to the site.
Is there any current information on the quality of the landfill currently, or is that what these studies are going to do?
Not sure what you mean by quality. We don't have a lot of data in terms of what has been found at the landfill. Back in the late 80s, EPA did a study about dioxins in baghouse dust at the local mills. Mm-hmm. And they did take a couple of samples, soil samples from the C Street landfill, and dioxins were detected in those soils. So we obviously want to explore that further and better understand any contamination that's present.
That's what I was wondering. Very nice. So the public will be able to comment on this process at the Civic Center from 6:30 to 8:30. And the open house is at 6:30. Presentation and questions. Are you going to be the one who will be providing that presentation?
I will be one of the folks there. The site manager who works for me in my section, Jason Langstrom, he is the site manager, and he will give a little bit of history about the C Street landfill, what we know, what we hope to find out. And in the beginning, I'll give a little overview just about the cleanup process under the Model Toxics Control Act and kind of where we are in that process.
Ecology is working with Rayonier Incorporated to clean up Goose Lake, which is north of the C Street landfill cleanup site. That's a separate cleanup and is not for this comment period, but there is more information available on some of these public one sheets about the C Street landfill that we'll post on our Facebook page as well. So this is coming up this next week here at the Civic Center, 525 West Coda Street, February 9th, 6:30 to 8:30. And a lot of questions will be answered at that time. Again, people can find more information under our environment page on iFiber1newsradio.com. Rebecca Lawson from the Department of Ecology on the phone with us this morning. Is there anything else that we need to pass along to the public on this?
I don't think so. I think it'll be a great opportunity for folks to get some questions answered. And, of course, we're just starting the process. So once we finish the remedial investigation and feasibility study, we'll know a lot more about what the risks are and then what needs to be done.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you so much again for coming on at late notice from the Department of Ecology, Rebecca Lawson, on the show this morning. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks again for having me.
Yeah, again, so that was Rebecca, and we talked with her on Daybreak on Tuesday, and there is that meeting coming up on the 9th at 6:30, and this is really going to kind of be the start of a big, change, because they want to make sure the land's all nice and clean, ready to go for the hall projects when those start to work about, stuff like that.
I mean, all this stuff.
Plus, it's interesting to learn about the history of where this happened.
It is interesting to learn all about it. And going forward, we realize that a lot of stuff that we did is not really that healthy for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's all across the country. It's like this new updating our, power grid and our energy and our water pipes, like the whole Flint deal. A lot of stuff that we put in place, we just didn't really realize that, dumping all the stuff, just putting sewage into the ocean. There's a lot of room out there.
I'm sure it's all going to be fine.
Yeah,
we just didn't know.
We didn't think about it, obviously.
So what do you think about when folks, admit to that, and then they say, well, we messed up, but now we can move forward from that.
Well, as long
There's
as
not a lot of that happening, usually.
Not a lot of that happening. Yeah.
In day-to-day life.
Right. I mean, I think that you just have to, if you can just say, okay, this is right, we need to find a way to fix it, instead of just keeping the blame on, that's the worst part about it.
Pushing it down.
Yeah.
I don't want to make these tough decisions. I don't want to be the one to make a decision on this.
Yeah. You know what? It all
way.
comes down to money.
Sure.
Mostly. If you had all the money in the world, if nothing cost anything, you would fix it so you had the healthiest life.
Sure.
I mean, obviously. And
it really is.
That's pretty sad.
It is all about that. Indeed. 6:53 here, iFIBER 1 and CNBC. Speaking of money, CNBC has a business radio report for you. I think between yesterday and now, Carol, at least one more presidential candidate has dropped out of the race. Yesterday, we had the story that Senator Rand Paul was done, and Rick Santorum yesterday was on, I think he was on Fox with Greta Van Susteren, and he made the announcement right there. He's like, in talking to Greta, and he goes, I'm making the announcement right here. Right now, this is it. I'm suspending my campaign, and throwing his support behind Marco Rubio. It turns out there is a Democrat debate tonight. Hillary-Bernie, first one-on-one candidate debate on the issues, but it was so late they didn't add it. And I couldn't get the rights to it, unfortunately, so we can't have that on the air. But Saturday night from 5 until 8, we have the next GOP debate, and that's going to be a big one. There's still about 8 candidates or so out there, and some people, Carly Fiorina has written a letter to the RNC saying, hey, we need to make sure that we're all on this stage where there's 8 people now or so we can all fit on there.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be letting ABC dictate who can be on and who can't be on based on poll results. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be the first debate that Trump will be at since losing Iowa. So we'll see how he handles that. He's kind of had some harsh, pointed words to Ted Cruz and their campaign for sending out some missives on the Carson campaign. Pretty interesting news notes with that regarding that.
Yeah, and I heard a story that Bush and Christie are sort of starting to gang up on Rubio.
Christie really... something happened after Iowa when Rubio came in third. He came in third, and he kind of made it sound like it was a winner, and that nobody thought that this could happen. A third place finish. So Christie really kind of took exception to that the other day and went off on the New Hampshire Reporter saying, "This guy, this boy in a bubble." Oh, new phrase from Ted Cruz. What was it?
Oh,
Trumper tantrum.
Trumper tantrum, yes.
Stephanie goes, oh, Trumper tantrum.
Yeah, exactly.
Ted, that's the best thing you've ever said. You're having a Trumper tantrum.
Yeah, and he knew everybody was going to, I bet his handler said, do not make any kind of comments because you became in second. So he didn't really on all the news agencies, but on his own Twitter feed,
Sure.
he, of course, said what he wanted. But he was toned down, and I'm sure he didn't want to be toned down.
I guess his concession speech, is that what you would call it, for coming in second? Whatever. That speech was the shortest speech he's ever given.
Yeah.
He ran up there, said his piece, ran off the stage.
And he usually always tells what he's thinking. I don't think he did that time.
No, and he was off the Twitter sphere for about 12 hours, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
They locked him out. His own
did.
people.
Malia, is that his wife's name? She took the phone away from him. Said, no tweeting right now, please. 6:57, CNBC Business Radio report coming up next. ABC News at the top of the hour. Zika virus is spreading like wildfire. Apparently now found in Georgia, the great state of Georgia down south. We'll have some more updates on that with ABC News, and if there's anything else additional we need to pass along, we will. Deb Riley coming in from Mason County Public Health to talk about a different issue, and this is the use of unlicensed contractors. They're starting to pop up around town in the county, so important news to know. That you shouldn't hire these folks. Make sure you see their license number, their bonded number.
Right.
And stuff like that. And that's with Deb Riley and more great guests for the next couple hours here on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
I'm Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio. Stocks are trading near the flat line as investors look over some weaker than expected economic data. First quarter productivity declined 3%. That's its largest fall since the first quarter of 2014 and a sign of flat to negative growth. The Dow's down 11 points, the Nasdaq lower by 25. Meantime, more Americans were standing on the nation's unemployment lines, filing first-time jobless claims. That number rose 8,000 to 285,000, higher than economists were expecting. Royal Dutch Shell reporting a nearly 60% drop in fourth quarter profit that was in line with expectations. The company says it will take additional steps to manage through the oil price downturn. And Buffalo Wild Wings reporting disappointing results, the wing chain blaming the holidays for soft sales. The earnings release came in just after health officials announced they were investigating a gastrointestinal illness at one of the company's restaurants.
Paying off credit cards can get expensive, and it can be an endless hassle to get a loan at a bank, which is why there is now another way to get the money you need at a competitive fixed interest rate without the hassles, fees, and risks. It's called Avant. Your loan through Avant can be approved in minutes, and money can be in your account in as little as one business day. And unlike peer lending sites, there are no costly origination fees for unsecured loans or waiting up to a week for the funds. So if you need a small or a substantial loan, go to Avant.com to check your interest rate. We think you're going to like what you see. Right now, Avant will also give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after your first installment is made on time. To check your rates with no effect on your FICO score and get this special offer, go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 5757 at checkout. That's www.avant.com, promo code 5757. Loans are made by WebBank and affiliates of Avant, Inc. Funds are deposited for delivery next business day if approved by 4:30 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. FICO is a registered trademark of Fair Isaac Corporation. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion.
Alex Jones and InfoWars on from 6 to 9, weekdays on iFIBER ONE News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3 KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. It was a scathing scolding for notorious former drug company CEO Martin Shkreli at a congressional hearing after he sometimes smiled and repeatedly refused to answer questions about why he exponentially raised the price of an infection-fighting drug, then claimed the money was for research and development.
Do you think you've done anything wrong? On the advice of counsel, I invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and respectfully decline to answer your question.
His lawyer says he wanted to answer questions but could not, pending the resolution of his indictment. Newly released memos show Shkreli gloated to board members that it was almost all profit, saying, $1 billion, here we come. States of emergency have been declared in 4 Florida counties where Zika has been confirmed. ABC Chief Medical Editor Dr. Richard Besser is in Brazil, where they're also fighting it.
When you declare a public health emergency, it gives the state access to resources that they might not otherwise have. When you look at risk in the United States, risk really flows with where the mosquito lives that can transmit this infection. And the Aedes aegypti mosquito, the one that has been shown to transmit Zika infection as well as dengue and chikungunya, is found in Florida, Texas, and many of the southern states.
It couldn't happen at a worse time. The IRS has temporarily stopped accepting e-filed tax returns while it assesses the scope of a hardware failure. ABC's Lana Zak has details.
If you're wondering, where's my refund? Or more specifically, if you're looking for the Where's My Refund button on IRS.gov, you're out of luck, at least for a while. A hardware failure at the IRS brought down e-filing services, including Where's My Refund? The IRS says they are working on the problem and hope to restore service as soon as possible.
Another airbag problem is triggering a recall of 5 million Hondas, Fiat Chrysler, and Mercedes vehicles. Continental Automotive Systems says moisture can seep inside its airbags and rust the power supply, disabling them in the event of a crash. This is ABC News.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to begin? Do you fear your job is in jeopardy, or is your business income reduction keeping you awake at night? We're in the best time in 25 years to make a fortune in real estate without using your money or credit. My name is Ron LeGrand, and I've taught 500,000 people to do just that, and personally bought hundreds of houses myself. If you'll call 800-495-1836, 24 hours, and leave your information, I'll send the first 500 callers my hot new CD, Fortunes in Foreclosures, and my best-selling book to help you get started absolutely free. I'll show you how to build a 6-figure income part-time with no previous experience and no license, even if you're a busy professional. Call 800-495-1836, 24 hours, and get my new book and CD free. That's 800-495-1836. Take your life back and make this your best year ever. Call 800-495-1836.
The candidates are stepping up the pace of their campaigning ahead of the all-important New Hampshire primary. ABC's Brad Milkey is there.
Speaking to New Hampshire voters at a CNN town hall forum, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton fielded questions on their faith, their policies, and their personal lives. They weren't on stage together, instead offering swipes at their rival backstage, especially when it came to who was the real progressive.
You can't go and say you're a moderate on one day and be a progressive on the other day.
Clinton took exception.
I don't think it helps for the senator to be making those kinds of comparisons.
Brad Milkey, ABC News, Derry, New Hampshire.
On the Republican side, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz are trading sharper barbs. Trump says Cruz stole the Iowa caucuses by putting out a phony press release claiming that Ben Carson was dropping out. Cruz says it wasn't a dirty trick, and he won't make anyone in his campaign a scapegoat by firing them. He also accuses Trump of being too ill-tempered to be president, saying if he's elected, we could one day wake up to find out he has nuked Denmark. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. 10 Washington counties, including Clallam, Grays Harbor, Lewis, and Mason, will receive federal assistance in connection with the December storm system that produced heavy rains, high winds, flooding, and landslides. The declaration makes available FEMA's public assistance program for the 10 counties and provides grants for hazard mitigation efforts statewide. Governor Jay Inslee thanked President Obama for quickly approving the major disaster declaration request. He says the storm resulted in damage in excess of $19 million. The first month of 2016 in Shelton marked a significant increase in crimes involving illegal firearms and guns being left in vehicles. According to Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody, 3 separate gun-related arrests were made. Moody credits the arrests to citizens and neighbors calling regarding suspicious activity. He is also encouraging residents to keep the streets and officers safe by practicing proper gun safety and storage. Dick Taylor and John Dobson from the Port of Shelton stopped by Daybreak to share a big announcement regarding the revitalization of the waterfront of Shelton.
Brandon Palmer came in and he's talking about the marina overhaul project down there, and this Oakland Bay project. The project has just really received a $1 million grant.
Wow.
From the federal government, which brings up the total grant dollars now to 2.65?
Something like that.
Yeah, $2.5 million that we've got so far.
So what does that mean for the revitalization project?
We're looking at redoing that end of Oakland Bay. And it's we can't restore it to what it was years ago, but we can make it better for salmon enhancement growth, replacing some of the old cruddy stuff that's down there left over from years of logging, working in the logging business on the waterfront there, cleaning that up, cleaning up the waterfront itself, putting in a new boat ramp, just beautifying it, put some trails in to make the area accessible for the public.
The project will take 5 to 6 years to complete and around $8 million total. Once complete, they say it will change the whole face of downtown Shelton. Beth Snyder of Shelton is set for her coronation as Miss NPRA on February 13th. The coronation and fundraiser for Snyder starts with the doors opening at 5 p.m. in the Shelton Civic Center. Dinner follows at 6. The event includes live and silent auctions. NPRA, or Northwest Professional Rodeo Association, supports the sport of rodeo through continued growth in rodeos and membership and providing humane and competitive entertainment for the Northwest. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
It's about your life and your money. It's the Dave Ramsey Show.
You don't win by accident. So this is your year to win. You don't get out of debt. You don't save your marriage by accident. You don't increase the quality of your marriage by accident. You don't raise great kids accidentally. These are intentional acts that you make choices on the variables in your environment and you form and control your life.
The Dave Ramsey Show, weekdays from noon to 3 on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
I'm attorney Harold Carr. During the past 25 years, more than 8,000 people have trusted me to handle their personal injury cases. I understand how an injury can disrupt your life and cause financial hardship for you and your family. At the law firm of Harold Carr, we have 5 attorneys and 19 staff members experienced with negotiating and litigating with insurance companies. So if you feel the insurance company is not dealing with you fairly, call me, Harold Carr. Let us deal with the insurance company so you won't have to.
Car accident? Call Carr or visit us online at haroldcarrattorney.com.
Good morning to you. It's Thursday. Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3. I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner. Good morning.
Good morning.
Deb Riley coming up in a few moments here from Mason County Public Health. Congratulations. It was South Sound signing day yesterday, and a handful of kids from around the area committed to heading to higher education, and I've been kind of covering some of them throughout the morning here. From Shelton, Lindsay Corey for fast pitch, going to Olympic College, and Grace Phelan from Shelton as well, women's soccer at Evergreen. So good on them. Did you do this at all from... You were into dance team? Drill team?
I did drill team.
Drill team.
Mm-hmm.
Do they offer scholarships for that kind of fine arts in high school?
I don't know.
You had to be, I think for band at least, you had to be really good.
Yeah,
and I was not anywhere near that. Congratulations to Easton Track at Tumwater. Football going to PSU, Portland State. Hunter Haggerty from Tumwater also going to Central for football. Uli Mae from Timberline going to Chico State. Yeah, Chico State. I haven't heard that name in a long time. And Jaron Bush from Timberline heading to Central. Congratulations to all the kids who pledged their allegiance to higher education and will be moving on to play sports. Forthcoming, University of Wisconsin says Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson returns to Madison this spring to give the school's commencement address. Wilson spent his final college season at Wisconsin after starring for 3 seasons at North Carolina State. The university says Wilson will speak to graduates at Camp Randall Stadium May 14th. They're very happy with all the work that he's done off the field at Children's Hospital, and he's there every Tuesday.
And he was doing that all before he was famous.
All before he was famous. You're right, Carol. That is right.
And all before he got rid of his heel lifts.
Okay, now I'm back on tracks. Yeah.
All right.
have signed Korean slugger Dae-Ho Lee and catcher Steve LaRue to minor league contracts. We are 2 weeks before the start of Mariners spring training. My goodness, that's awesome. Tonight on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.com, Shelton girls basketball taking on Foss with playoff implications on the line. Plus, it's the final home game for the senior girls. So it's senior night. Come on out to the Mini Dome. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you can't make it, Sean Wells has the video cast for you on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.com. On the radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3. We've got Gonzaga basketball for you. 7:11 now. Here's Carol with the forecast.
Good morning. It's 39, mostly cloudy. Rain today, tomorrow, highs near 50. Sunrise in a little less than a half an hour. And this weekend looks to be partly cloudy with a high of 51 on Saturday and a high of 55 on Sunday. And right now, it's 39.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
7:11 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio, and a good morning to you. It is Thursday here, the 4th day of February. We've got the Polar Bear Plunge coming up this Saturday, and Carol's promising a pretty nice forecast over there to jump in the water.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be any rain. It'll probably be in the mid-40s right when people start jumping.
You know, in years gone past, it's been freezing cold. Here, I'm just going to say this, and you can draw your own conclusions. For the last couple years, it's been very freezing cold. In fact, ice on the water at some times. And you've never been to an event. Now, you're showing up this Saturday, and the weather looks great.
Well, where can I tell you? I expect good things, and good things happen.
That is the power of positive thinking. 7:13. We'll be right back after a quick break. Also, I want to let you know about some of the stories quickly before we head to that break. Shelton Rodeo Queen ready for coronation. That's Beth Snyder, front page of iFIBER ONE Newsradio.com.
Listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Do you have financial questions you need answered but are unsure who to ask? We're here to help. Join us for ABC Mason's 3rd annual Super Saturday Financial Information Fair on February 6th at the Shelton-Timberland Regional Library from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Enjoy free snacks and enter to win fabulous prizes while increasing your financial know-how. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And best of all, Super Saturday is free and open to the public. For more information about Super Saturday, visit www.abcmasoncounty.org.
Having a new baby this year? If you just got the exciting news, Mountain View Women's Health has some more good news for you. The best prenatal and delivery care you could ask for is close to home and family. Mountain View Women's Health and the Birth Center at Mason General Hospital offer excellent care to make your prenatal and birth experience wonderful. Among the many great features is the personalized birthing plan that includes your choice of pain management from epidural to natural birth. For more information, call Mountain View Women's Health at 426-0955.
Mason General Hospital and family of clinics. Equal opportunity provider. Translation services provided.
Mason General and family of clinics.
Understanding your finances is a key to a strong financial future. Don't be the one who gets left behind. Visit feedthepig.org for tools and tips to get started on the path to financial stability. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 present Daybreak.
All right, good morning to you. It is Daybreak here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Jeff and Carol in studio this morning with Deb Riley from Mason County Public Health. Good morning, Deb.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
It's always nice to hear from you. You've always got some great news notes to pass along and some consumer information as well. And that's what brings you here today. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. What's going on? What should we be aware of?
Well, starting the new year, it's always really good to think about doing things around your home. We constantly send out reminders to have your septic system serviced, whether it's a pumping for a gravity system or a service event for some of those more technical systems. And I wanted to make sure that everybody that's listening to us knows that there are lists of approved providers on our website. You can call our office and say, hey, I want to use this company. Are they licensed in Mason County? Some places are licensed in Thurston County or Kitsap County, but not Mason County. Some places are licensed in all 3 counties. And if you have any work done, please call us. You don't even have to give your name or address. It's easier if we know what area of the county you're in, because some of our contractors work in general areas. But I was upset by something that happened, and it hasn't come to a conclusion yet, so I can't really use the example, but I can give you a for instance.
Okay.
Someone bought a house, got a clean bill of health on the septic system, and now with their new property, this is, happened more than once, especially along the canal for some reason.
Okay.
They want to remodel. And so they come in to get their permit to do the remodel and find out that that new on-site septic system was installed without a permit. So that's strike one. And then we find out that the person who installed it was not licensed to work in this county. So, it puts that new homeowner in a situation. It puts the homeowner who sold the property in a situation. For all I know, it may even put the realtors in a situation. So make sure there are records. I've been on the program before to talk about our scanning program. Our records, as far as we know, for septic and now for drinking water, have been scanned and are online and accessible for anybody to use. Just go to the county website, click on parcel information. When they get into the next screen, there's something that's called land records. They can click on that, put in their address, their name as the owner, their parcel number is perfect if they have that. And then they can look at the records that exist for that property. So they can look at their septic system records. They can look at the well construction permit. There's another site that we have a link from the county webpage and from the environmental health webpage that takes you in to see the last service on that septic system. You can click on it, put in your address or your parcel number, and see who pumped it or serviced it the last time. And we really encourage people to use these. They're free, they're easy. If you have trouble with them, call us, and whoever answers the phone will help you get to the site.
So let's say that we're using that, for instance, and the people find that they had no idea that this septic was not properly installed, and then unlicensed by an unlicensed installer. If they were to go to the records, what would they find there?
They would have found that there were no permits for a new on-site septic system.
So when you go to look at the house for sale and you see the septic the tank, the tops of it, and you go, oh, there is septic here. And then you go back and look at the records, it wouldn't show that they're up to date, or they wouldn't show anything?
They wouldn't show anything, and that should be a red flag to the prospective buyer and to the realtor who is representing them. Now, we have a lot of cash deals in Mason County.
Sure.
So people often skip that, but, even if you're paying cash for a property or not going through a regular lender, this is something that you should do just to be an informed consumer.
Okay, so then you go and you look, you accidentally already bought it without looking, and then you're fined. Is that?
No, we don't fine people. We work with them to get everything into compliance.
Okay, so
that might mean doing a little bit of changes to the system if it's not quite right. We do everything we can to help those people out. We don't go in there and say, okay, you're going to be fined X amount of money and you've got to abandon this system and put in a new system. You know, it might be as simple as adding some more length if that's not right. Sometimes it may have to be treated ahead of the disposal because it's too deep in the ground or something. But there are things that we really try to work with the citizens. We're not the health department of the 1990s. We truly, I know it sounds so funny, but we are here to help people. You know, our main mission is education in order to protect the public's health.
So what if the person that they hired who didn't have a license and who wasn't on the list, what if they did a really great job and they did everything within permitting wise? Would you say, okay, then you go out there and then you would certify it? Is that okay?
They would get their permit, so everything's in the system properly, and we would approve it. Oh yeah, we have some homeowners that do their own installs that do an absolutely wonderful job. Personally, the best one I ever saw was a carpenter who decided that he too could install his own on-site septic system. The edges of the trenches were squared. The bottom was perfectly flat. And the county I worked in before this one, we used a transit to check the levels on the pipe. It was perfectly on. And I said, I would like you to build my next house.
Exactly.
You know, so there are all sorts of things. I just worry about our citizens as consumers. We do have a list of approved people, whether they're pumpers, licensed installers, even the designers who we don't license, but the State Department of Licensing license. We have a list of those who work in our area frequently. They pay $25 a year to be on the list. But all of these people are there for your use. I do have to put out the reminder that these people meet minimum standards. They're not all at the top of the pack, but they're certainly not below those minimum standards.
What is the what are some, if you know, some major distinctions between being licensed in Thurston County or Lewis County or Kitsap County, and if you're not licensed for Mason County, what would be different in Mason County?
That's an excellent question, Jeff. We used to do our own licensing here for the installers. We have now been working with our neighboring counties and been using a group called WOSA, the Washington On-Site Sewage Association, to do all of our installer licensing, so they're consistent throughout.
Okay.
And because you brought that up, there's even work in the Environmental Health Directors Group on the west side to pull together some memorandums of understanding for some of the mobile food units that cross jurisdictional boundaries.
Sure.
So we're trying to make things simpler and easier, you know, for the people who work with us, as well as our citizens who use those services.
Very good. And it is 7:23 right now. We have got... can you hang out for a little bit to talk a little bit about the cleaning of the septics, or put some stuff in there? Let's take a quick break right now. When we come back, we'll continue with Deb Riley this Thursday morning as we talk more about Mason County Public Health. It's 7:24 here on Daybreak.
Listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
The craziness is returning to the kennel.
Wiltshire behind his back with a dribble, and he scores. He's got Kornowski to his left, pulls up, shoots, scores, and a foul.
Zags basketball from IMG.
Corners, Nelson driving baseline, and a two-handed throw down dunk. Oh my goodness, Silas Nelson.
From tip-off to the final buzzer.
And throws it down with two hands.
Follow the action all season long on your home for Bulldogs basketball, the Gonzaga IMG Sports Network.
It's the Las Vegas Getaway Giveaway, Saturday nights the 13th and 27th at the Lucky Dog Casino. 2 lucky winners will win a trip for 2 to Vegas, baby. Free bingo on Wednesday afternoons beginning at 1, and in the North Fork Grill, prime rib Saturdays from 4 till 9. A special Valentine's Day dinner Sunday, February 14th, minutes north of Shelton on Highway 101. It's the Lucky Dog Casino.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
All right, good morning to you. 726 here at iFIBER One News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3. Carol and I continuing our conversation with Deb Riley from Mason County Public Health. And now we're going to move from perhaps misinstalled systems to what happens and how do we, you hear a lot of, you get flyers and you see internet pop-ups and you hear from other folks that use certain things to clean and service their systems. Do these things work? What do we need to know about ways to service your systems individually, I guess?
Well, individually, different systems have different maintenance schedules. And those two can be found on our website. Or the best thing is to have your professional tell you when your next service is due and keep on a schedule with that person. Sometimes they'll pump your tank and say, everything looked good. You can wait. Not for the 3 years as is prescribed on the schedule, but you can wait for 5 years and I'll see you again in 5 years. And we're perfectly good with that because we defer to that professional.
Okay.
When you get those little flyers in the mail, or it used to be phone calls from Florida that are advertising products, do not buy them. These products are good for the people who are selling them and making a profit from them.
Okay.
What you put down the septic system that goes through your body and just enough paper to clean up the mess is all that goes in your septic system.
So what are they selling you when they call you from Florida?
That particular instance, they said they had enzymes that would break down the sludge, which for another reason that's bad because if you break it down, then it can go out into your drain field and clog your drain field.
Oh.
We want to keep that in the tank. You want a healthy tank that has a sludge layer on the bottom and a scum layer on the top with that clear working effluent in the middle.
Okay.
And that's what the pumper comes in and sucks out of the tank. But a gentleman who was part of the Lower Hood Canal Watershed Coalition, sent for it. He said, I want to see what they're sending us. And what he got in return was a little, like an ice cream bucket-sized bucket of sawdust for $25.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He brought it into us and said, this is what it was. Now, I'm not saying everybody is like that,
Right.
but that was one of those phone call ones, and you need that. The other things may be on the approved list by the State Department of Health, and they're only approved because they do no harm. They're not approved because they've proven that they're good for your system.
Oh.
So they do no harm to your system or to the water table.
Interesting. So be cautious
Very
if you
cautious.
hear these things.
Save your money.
Yeah.
You know, we have a report of an older person who had a septic pumping that cost them a couple $1,000s when it should have been about $300, give or take, because they were upsold and upsold and upsold and got into a service contract that they didn't need and had a lot of additives that they didn't need, especially one person living alone in a house. You know, they should be going on to a longer pumping schedule if, you know, they're not having parties every weekend with hundreds of people or renting their house out as a vacation rental or something like that.
And the phone numbers again to Mason County Public Health, if you feel you need to get some answers to your questions, how do we get in contact with you?
Absolutely. It's, of course, 360-427-9666. 888-878-70. The main desk in the health department is extension 400, and my extension is 358. People are more than welcome to call me, or my email is dlr@co.mason.wa.us.
Very good. We'll have that information on our website just after the show gets up. And then next week, or maybe in a week or two, once all of us kind of get a better handle on this Zika virus, if you maybe could come by and talk to us about that, if you're familiar with it, that would be great as well. Thank you, Deb.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's 7:30 now, and time for the latest in local news, brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. It's 7:31.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. 10 Washington counties, including Clallam, Grays Harbor, Lewis, and Mason, will receive federal assistance in connection with the December storm system that produced heavy rains, high winds, flooding, and landslides. The declaration makes available FEMA's public assistance program for the 10 counties and provides grants for hazard mitigation efforts statewide. Governor Jay Inslee thanked President Obama for quickly approving the major disaster declaration request. He says the storm resulted in damage in excess of $19 million. The first month of 2016 in Shelton marked a significant increase in crimes involving illegal firearms and guns being left in vehicles. According to Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody, 3 separate gun-related arrests were made. Moody credits the arrests to citizens and neighbors calling regarding suspicious activity. He's also encouraging residents to keep the streets and officers safe by practicing proper gun safety and storage. Dick Taylor and John Dobson from the Port of Shelton stopped by Daybreak to share a big announcement regarding the revitalization of the waterfront of Shelton.
Brandon Palmer came in, and he's talking about the marina overhaul project down there, this Oakland Bay project. The project has just really received a $1 million grant.
Wow.
From the federal government, which brings up the total grant dollars now to 2.65?
Something like that.
Yeah, $2.5 million that we've got so far.
So what does that mean for the revitalization project?
We're looking at redoing that end of Oakland Bay. And it's we can't restore it to what it was years ago, but we can make it better for salmon enhancement growth, replacing some of the old cruddy stuff that's down there left over from years of logging, working in the logging business on the waterfront there, cleaning that up, cleaning up the waterfront itself, putting in a new boat ramp, just beautifying it, put some trails in to make the area accessible for the public.
The project will take 5 to 6 years to complete and around $8 million total. Once complete, they say it will change the whole face of downtown Shelton. Beth Snyder of Shelton is set for her coronation as Miss NPRA on February 13th. The coronation and fundraiser for Snyder starts with the doors opening at 5 p.m. in the Shelton Civic Center. Dinner follows at 6. The event includes live and silent auctions. NPRA, or Northwest Professional Rodeo Association, supports the sport of rodeo through continued growth in rodeos and membership and providing humane and competitive entertainment for the Northwest. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
At Mason PUD3, we know that time changes all things, like phone numbers, mailing addresses, and email addresses, even names. PUD3 needs your correct account information for emergency contacts and online security. To make this fun, all PUD3 customers who update or confirm their account information by April 27th will have their names placed into a drawing for a free iPad mini. Go to masonpud3.org/account to learn more.
Take control of your money. Start by listening to The Dave Ramsey Show.
See, as long as something is specific and measurable and you give it a time limit, immediately 6th grade math kicks in and you can do the division, long division. Say, I want to make $100,000 this year. Great. How much is that a month? $8,300. Do you sell for a living? If you're on commission, you can divide that out, know exactly what you need to sell in order to make your $2,100 a week, which is $100,000 a year. You need to divide out what it takes to get where you want to go.
The Dave Ramsey Show, weekdays from noon to 3 on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Curry spices it up in D.C. OK OKC and the Spurs are winners, and the Seminoles score big on National Signing Day. Hi, everybody. Todd Ant reporting on sports. Steph Curry lighting it up in the nation's capital.
It's a 3-on-2 left side. Curry for three. Got it. Curry's got 11 threes on the night. That ties his career high, and it prompts a timeout.
On KNBR, Curry scored 51 points in Golden State's 134-121 win over the Wizards for their 8th straight win. John Wall led the Wizards with 41. The Warriors scheduled to be at the White House to meet with the president today. Kevin Durant capped off a 37-point night with this game winner.
Crossing over. Arcs an angle at three. Up. Cha-ching! The Thunder ready to go! Oh, baby! KD did it! Rips the cords. Has 37 points.
On WWLS, Thunder 117, Magic 114. Russell Westbrook posted his 3rd straight triple-double. The Spurs are 27-0 at home this season.
Leonard driving into the paint. Back out to Aldridge. Open 19-footer. Yes. From Kawhi Leonard.
On WOAI, Spurs over the Pelicans 110-97. LaMarcus Aldridge scored 36. The Timberwolves go into Los Angeles and lose to the Lakers Tuesday, but a different outcome last night against the Clippers thanks to Andrew Wiggins.
Bounce it inside to Wiggins. Spins. Turnaround jump shot is good. 31 for Andrew Wiggins. Big time shot on the baseline.
On WCCO, Wiggins finished with 31. Minnesota snapped a 14-game road skid against the Clippers with a 108-102 victory. It was National Signing Day in college football, and ESPN's recruiting analyst Derek Tyson on Florida State's topping the list of recruits.
Adding guys like Brian Burns to start off the day, then getting a defensive tackle, Shavar Manuel, to flip from Florida. They're our rival. I mean, that's a huge win when you're able to do that. That was a huge pickup. And then later on in the day, getting guys like Carlos Becker, Dontavius Jackson, Landon Dickerson.
Michigan was the big winner, signing top recruit, defensive end Rashawn Gary from New Jersey. College basketball, all the top 25 teams were winners, including Villanova, Maryland, and Iowa. Todd Ant, ABC Sports.
7:37 on a Thursday morning. It's Daybreak, AM 1030, FM 103.3. What are you laughing about over there?
I just laugh, you know. What can I say?
Carol Gardner in studio as well. Checking sports. First forecast. We're looking outside. It's pretty foggy again. Is that right? Is that what we're seeing?
No, maybe some overcast and 40.
There's clouds. Okay. National Signing Day was yesterday. Congratulations to Lindsay Corey and Grace Phelan. Both signed letters of intent. Lindsay with fast pitch to Olympic College and Grace with women's soccer to Evergreen State College. What school haven't I focused on yet this morning? Capital, Madison Midstoke women's soccer going to Northwest Nazarene, and then Van Soderberg for football is going to UW. Congratulations to everybody who signed their letters of intent over the overnight. 7:37 now, and other sports notes to pass along with you. University of Wisconsin says old QB number 3, Russell Wilson, returning to Madison this spring to give the commencement address. They are obviously very happy with the spotlight that has been brought to Wisconsin. You know, he was at North Carolina State, and then he went to Wisconsin. And, well, we all know the story of him being short in stature, but doing quite well for himself in the NFL. He went to Wisconsin, took them to the Rose Bowl that one year that he was the QB. And, well, the rest, as they say, Carol, is history. Seattle Mariners are just 2 weeks before the start of spring training, and they have signed Korean slugger Dae-Ho Lee and catcher Steve LaRude to minor league contracts. Again, though, the big story is that we are just 2 weeks before the start of spring training. We've got the Mariners for you right here on iFIBER ONE News Radio all season long. 7:39 now, and Carol's got a check at the forecast.
Good morning. It's 39, mostly cloudy. There'll be rain today and tomorrow, and we'll have highs near 50. The weekend looks to be partly cloudy with highs in the mid-50s to low 50s. No rain forecast for the big jump on Saturday at the Daybreak Resort.
That's good.
And right now it's 41.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South South's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
740 at iFIBER One News Radio. It's Daybreak, AM 1030 and FM 1033. Coming up at 8:15 this morning. Allison Malushnik from the Asset Building Coalition here in the county will be by to talk about some things that she's got working on. Also, throughout the rest of the morning, we have Police Chief Darren Moody coming in to talk with us for the focus on Shelton about the increase in illegal gun crimes that are going on around the city. Saw a spike this last month. And then Sean Wells, our sports director, in at 8:30, talk about the kids who signed letters of intent and some of the other sports notes that he will be passing along. We have on iFiber1newsradio.com tonight a Shelton High School basketball game for you. The girls, it's senior night, and they're taking on Foss. If they win this game, they are one step closer to making it into the playoffs. We will have that coming up for you tonight on iFiber1newsradio.com, and then on the AM 1030 and FM 1033, Gonzaga basketball this upcoming weekend. Another Gonzaga game Saturday night, just after the next GOP debate coming our way from 5 until 8. Coming up, we'll talk about a great show on the weekends here on iFIBER One News Radio with Tom and Leslie from the Money Pit, and they are all about ways to, well, do it yourself when it comes to fixing up your home. They've given us a lot of great tips, and I hear a lot of these great tips. But there's certain points that I know either I will do a terrible job and have to hire somebody, or I just don't know what I'm doing. So we'll have a chat about that coming up in just a couple of moments on iFiber1newsradio.com. We talked earlier this morning with Rebecca Lawson from the Department of Ecology regarding the C Street landfill cleanup. There is a meeting coming up for us on Tuesday night at 6:30 at the Shelton Civic Center. This event is one of the first steps in exploring the extent and types of contaminations at the site and some planned cleanup options to protect human health and the environment. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Mason County Garbage and Recycling on Johns Prairie here in Shelton is pleased to offer safe and efficient removal services. Mason County Garbage and Recycling is always mindful of environmental standards and is continuously striving for the highest excellence. Mason County Garbage and Recycling, upholding your trust within the community. Questions? Call 426-8729. In Belfair, 275-4590.
iFIBER Communications, the fastest internet provider in Washington State, has just opened their doors here in Mason County and got their first local customers signed up. James, tell me about your experience.
From the first time I learned of iFIBER to the day I got hooked up, even now, I felt that my fiber connection and the service given to me have been the #1 most important job to every member of the iFIBER team. And not just because I was first in line with my nose pressed up to the glass waiting for a company to take my money.
What differences have you noticed?
I get what I pay for. With non-fiber solutions, you're paying up to the top and never get a constant number anywhere near that top. With fiber, you certainly do. With iFIBER, you get it at a competitive and affordable price.
Why should others sign up for iFIBER Internet?
Well, iFIBER has made a commitment to Mason County. They're working hard to bring fast speeds to everyone at an affordable price. And now with phones and television, your bill will be all in one place with no hidden fees or sudden price changes to surprise you month to month like other all-in-one service providers.
Get signed up for iFIBER Communications today by calling 360-427-4000 or visit iFiber.tv for more information.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Good morning to you. 7:45 here at iFIBER One News Radio. It's Daybreak, AM 1030 and FM 1033. We got the news from ABC coming up at 8 o'clock and Mary Lynn Foster 8:04 to provide you with an update in the latest in local news. One of the great shows on the radio here is The Money Pit. That's what I need right there. And we talk and listen to the Money Pit with Tom and Leslie. Great show, and they bring a lot of tips to the forefront on ways that you could kind of spruce up your house without spending a lot of money. For example, if you want to keep your tile flooring looking like new, you can make a solution of white vinegar and water to wash your tile floor. The vinegar cleans and shines the tile floor without leaving streaks. Now, so this is, you take a little vinegar, you take a little water, you add a little elbow grease, and you make this yourself. You could always buy tile cleaners, but...
Or
you
could hire somebody to do it.
I kind of like what you're saying here.
Well, where do you draw the line at where you do it yourself, all things around the house or life, and hiring somebody else to do it? So we were just talking to Deb Riley about hiring somebody to do your septic service, which you should do because they are licensed.
Yeah.
So that one I would definitely hire somebody to do it because you're all, permitted and et cetera. But you're at home, you look at your house, you're like, I have a party tonight or tomorrow. My house is a mess. Can I call out and hire somebody to clean it, or do I get busy?
I have a real, I think it's based on kind of how you grew up. So growing up, I never had anyone come to the house and clean until I was in high school. And we, with our mixed family, with my two step siblings and my stepmom and dad, we were living in a house that was pretty big, and we were all very busy working hard. And so they did hire someone to clean. And I always thought it was kind of weird. I never felt, so take this with whatever. I never felt we were at the economic level to have someone come and clean our house. And
is it because they use the money on the housekeeper versus your new pair of jeans?
It's probably, that's why I spend all my time buying clothes at used stores, secondhand stores.
They're hiring a housekeeper, but I don't get new jeans.
So I don't know. I mean, I get if it is something structural where an inspector would have to come and look and check later in life. Like if I wouldn't want to do anything that would jeopardize the potential sale of my home down the road.
Right.
That's kind of an overall draw the line. Here's an example. My front yard is a mess. The grass, you've seen it, it's just moss and gross. And so I
like moss.
Well, please come and take all of it. There has been conversations in the house. Do we get someone to come in and just redo the whole front yard? Or do I do it? Right. Now that I'm still kind of straddling this no kid and kid thing. I still feel as there's a lot of things I can get done on a day-to-day basis, even with Kaiser. It's slowly, I'm losing that grip. We're running out of time. So with the addition of a baby, I can definitely see hiring out. But I'm a fan of, one, trying it myself and trying the original way first. And then if there's any technology to help, you move upwards.
Right.
In that.
So for like your lawn, I mean, when my lawn got out of hand a couple summers ago, I hired a professional to come in because it was like, almost 2 feet high. It was ridiculous. And I'm like, I don't have the tools to do it. Or it would have been ridiculous for me to really do it. So I can see that, and then I can maintain it. But then sometimes you're just thinking, you get busy with your life and you need the front lawn mowed or even some landscaping done. My sister is actually a landscaper, so she goes out and makes other people's yards beautiful. And
the other thing is that I don't have all the answers when it comes to beautiful best practices in landscaping.
Right.
It would probably best serve me to bring someone in who's got a fresh eye, a new eye on how to do things proper for better drainage. Where. Yeah,
exactly. But what about some other things like, for instance, when you moved into your new house, did you move it all by yourself? Did you enlist all your friends and neighbors?
You always got to have a pizza party.
But did you call the movers?
No.
Would you do that now if you were moving? Now that you have a fuller household?
If I'm going to move out of state, I would.
Out of state?
I think I should be able to do this myself.
Stephanie's going, wait a minute.
And then halfway through the move, I'll go, this was a bad idea.
Yeah, that's called the movers. Yeah, I mean, that one I always think I can do myself. I finally relented the last few times I moved and hired a truck at least. And so I packed up the truck myself. But I at least moved to that step.
I'm still under the idea, back in the 90s when I got done with high school and I moved a couple, 3 or 4 times, I could fit all of my stuff into my Toyota Tercel.
Right.
Like I could, if I needed to bug out, I had all the stuff ready to go. And I still am kind of hanging on to that too.
Yeah, it's just not going to fly.
We are well
not going to fly. So you're super busy. What about a grocery delivery?
I've seen that. I like to choose my own produce. That's the bottom line.
Oh, that's where you don't want people going and touching your,
I don't know,
your carrots.
What's to say they're not always just going to pick the worst food to give you? Because what are you going to do about it?
Then you wouldn't hire them anymore. Well, but what if they're great?
I still would.
But
I'm a shopper. I like shopping.
So you're
I'm a consumerist, and I love being in places that take my money.
Okay, so how about this one? Laundry.
Oh, yeah, no. Stephanie just does all that.
What if she says, this is now your year for laundry? Are you going to hire her to?
No way. No. It takes 2 seconds. You put it in the bin, push the button. That's why you have a machine. Now, if I had to actually do the laundry myself with an old tin metal thing.
You'd be calling the next person.
I sure would.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
By their very nature, snowflakes are extremely hard to study, and there's an awful lot we don't know about them. More on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Thursday, February 4th, the 35th day of the year. Former Vice President Dan Quayle and civil rights hero Rosa Parks were born on this day, and Facebook turns 12 years old. The website was launched on this day in 2004. You might think in this day and age that a scientific process such as how a snowflake forms would be well understood. Are you ready for this? No one really knows. We do know that flakes form at certain temperatures, needles at other temperatures, and hollow columns at still other temperatures. But the exact hows and whys are anything but crystal clear. So if you're looking to boost your scientific creds, there's a reputation to be made for discovering a unified theory of snowflakes. That's the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Find more fun weather facts online at almanac.com.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
$7:52. Good morning to you. It's Daybreak here. iFIBER One News Radio, AM 1030, FM 1033. Allison Malushnik coming up at 8:15, talking about the Asset Building Coalition of Mason County. Police Chief Darren Moody in at 8:45 for the Focus on Shelton. Brought to you by our Community Credit Union. He'll be in to talk with us about a kind of recent spike, and Marilyn Foster has it in the news at the top of her story. Also, we see a picture of Beth Snyder on the front page of iFiber1newsradio.com, above the fold, if you will. And what's Beth in the news for, Carol?
Oh, she's going to have a coronation as Miss NPRA on February 13th.
That's awesome. Good for her.
Mm-hmm.
She's nice. We've talked a couple times, over the years, been into the station for the rodeo stuff and then seen her at the rodeos. The NPRA, meaning the Northwest Professional Rodeo Association, great organization working to perpetuate the sport of rodeo through continued growth in the sport, membership, and providing humane and competitive entertainment for the Northwest. You ever been to a rodeo?
I have been to a rodeo.
Oh, I love it. I had such a good time a couple years ago. Again, I hope that this year we can all gather around, bring back, have another great rodeo this summer.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we will see what happens.
For sure. The Shelton Sad Club is also in the news under our local tab. Jerry Apple and our friend Rachel is coming in tomorrow to talk about this, and it's a good cause coming up on February 20.
It's Eat for a Good Cause at the Shelton High School. Students Against Destructive Decisions, Spaghetti Feed, and Silent Auction.
Oh, great.
A fundraising event benefiting the Shelton Relay for Life. So it begins at 5:30 at the Shelton High School Union Building. And there's also going to be music by the Shelton High School Band and Daryl White's ukulele group.
We were mall walking yesterday, and Kaiser stops by a little kiosk that has a ukulele in it, and he starts screaming and clapping and making all this noise. I think he may be a future Tiny Tim.
Maybe he'll go beyond the ukulele. Not that there's anything wrong with the ukulele.
Don't let Joel Meyer from PUD3, let's hear that. Speaking of PUD3, those reader boards look great. Again, we talked about them yesterday, but again, coming into town. I still haven't been out to come in the other side. Maybe I'll do that today. But the Facebook notes say that the one from that side of town near the Happy Teriyaki looks really nice. So good on the PUD3 and the linesmen and the crews and the city as well for all kind of getting together, getting that thing taken care of. 7:56 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. What else is going on in the latest and local news on the website, Carol?
Oh, yesterday we had a story. The Mason County Sheriff's Office is looking to find 2 jet skis to help cover the county's 92 square miles of water in the Hood Canal.
I remember this story.
And Puget Sound and 200 lakes. And they want to use it for search and rescue. They feel it's easier to deploy, quicker response time.
I can see that. And I was having a bit of a hard time understanding why they would need these jet skis because, and somebody rightly pointed it out on the Facebook page too, you can't really arrest somebody and throw them on the back of your jet ski and take you into the...
Right. I guess I just thought more search and rescue, not necessarily arresting, but they can get out there and pinpoint where it's at or whatever, you know.
Yeah. No, it makes total sense. Now that you were able to better explain it to me. Thank you. 7:56 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. We will take a break here now, and then we come back. It will be 8 o'clock. After the top of the hour, Mary Lynn Foster has the latest in local news. We'll check sports as well as it's signing day. Sean Wells is in at 8:30 to let us know about all the student athletes from around the area signing their letters of intent, moving on to higher education. That's all coming up after this break on Daybreak. It's 8 o'clock.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Tom Hartman is live and waiting your call. Weekdays from 9 to noon on iFIBER ONE News Radio. AM 1030, FM 1033, KMAS Shelton.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom31.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom31.com. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom31.com.
Hi, everyone. This is Mark Tobert, your advertising consultant from iFIBER ONE News Radio. Are you missing customers because you only market to a specific group? iFIBER ONE News Radio can help you hit a larger group of buyers with our diverse audience. We are 24 hours of local and national breaking news, award-winning talk radio, and primetime sports, including local high school sports. What does this mean to you? This means our listeners listen longer to entire programs and don't switch to another station when a commercial comes on. Our coverage in the Puget Sound area hits over 500,000 listeners, including Mason County, Thurston County, Grace Harbor County, King, Pierce, Joint Base Lewis McCourt, and Kitsap County to the Bremerton Naval Base. All advertising is 100% tax deductible. So how can you afford not to advertise? Call me, Mark Tobert, at iFIBER ONE News Radio to become a total audience plan advertiser. Just call 360-426-1030.
Has this
ever happened to you? Your significant other says, we've got to redo the kitchen, and you break out into a cold sweat?
Well, don't worry. It's a common condition, something we call needless remodeling anxiety, and we've got the cure. Heck, we are the cure. Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Whether you do it yourself or direct it yourself, we can help you keep your project on track and on budget.
So join us this weekend for the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER One News Radio.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase.
On the advice of counsel, I invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and respectfully decline to answer your question.
Former drug company CEO Martin Shkreli repeatedly refused to answer pointed questions at a House committee hearing about cranking up prices of a life-saving drug and sometimes smiled.
It's not funny, Mr. Shkreli. People are dying, and they're getting sicker and sicker.
Ranking Democrat Elijah Cummings called him out.
Drug company executives are lining their pockets at the expense of some of the most vulnerable families in our nation.
Shkreli was escorted out of the hearing after just a few minutes. His lawyer, Ben Brafman, says he didn't mean to be rude.
Some of what you saw was nervous energy by an individual who very much would like to explain what happened, but is agreed to listen to his lawyer.
But minutes later, he called committee members imbeciles in a tweet. If you're looking for a job, Home Depot says, let's do this. The company's putting up the Help Wanted sign for 80,000 new associates to make sure their stores are fully staffed for their busiest season, spring. More alarm bells are sounding in the Zika virus outbreak. Florida has declared states of emergency in 4 counties where it's been detected. Some are calling on Brazil to cancel the upcoming summer games in Rio. ABC Chief Medical Editor Dr. Richard Besser tells us what could happen.
When people come together for mass gatherings like the Olympic Games, if there is an epidemic going on, when they go back to their countries, they may bring home something other than souvenirs. That's the way many viruses have been spread around the world. We've seen that with the polio virus and people making pilgrimages to Mecca.
The IRS asks taxpayers to hold off uploading their tax returns for now as they fix a hardware failure in their electronic filing system. Passengers on a jet about to take off from Madrid to Saudi Arabia were instead taxied to a remote part of the airport and evacuated after the pilot reported an unspecified threat. This is ABC News.
Honey, I'm really worried about our retirement funds.
Oh, me too. We lost so much value in the recession in the stock market. I'm worried we won't have enough to retire.
Jim next door told me that he had set up a new kind of IRA with a gold silver group. He said how simple and safe it was. It's a private storage IRA, and we could have real gold and silver in our hands.
Really? You mean we can actually see it and touch it?
Absolutely. Jim said we could have all the benefits of an IRA to help build our retirement income. Bottom line, we would own a real tangible asset. And we would have the security of knowing we're protected no matter what the economy does. What do you think?
I think we need to find out how to get our own private storage IRA. We need to call the Gold Silver Group right now.
Are you ready to protect your future? Call 800-295-6803 now to find out how easy and safe it is to set up a private storage IRA with Gold Silver Group and find out how you can qualify for up to $700 in free silver. All transactions are privately delivered and fully insured. Please call us now. 800-295-6803. 800-295-6803.
A new study finds many attorneys turn to alcohol to deal with stress. More from ABC's Ryan Burrow.
Brownest of the brown liquors. It may be funny on The Simpsons. You want me to drink you, but I'm in the middle of a trial. But in the real world, more than 20% of licensed attorneys qualify as problem drinkers, according to a new study by the American Bar Association Commission and the Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation. The study found 28% of licensed lawyers struggle with some type of depression, and 19% demonstrate symptoms of anxiety. The lead author of the study says the findings paint a picture of an unsustainable culture and should be a call to action. Ryan Burrow, ABC News.
Orders to factories fell sharply in December, capping the first full year of falling demand for American manufactured goods in 6. Orders were down 2.9% in December, the 4th decline in the past 5 months. For the year, they were down 6.6%, the first decline since 2009 when the country was mired in a recession. The big December decline was led by a plunge in demand for commercial aircraft. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. 10 Washington counties, including Clallam, Grays Harbor, Lewis, and Mason, will receive federal assistance in connection with the December storm system that produced heavy rains, high winds, flooding, and landslides. The declaration makes available FEMA's public assistance program for the 10 counties and provides grants for hazard mitigation efforts statewide. Governor Jay Inslee thanked President Obama for quickly approving the major disaster declaration request. He says the storm resulted in damage in excess of $19 million. The first month of 2016 in Shelton marked a significant increase in crimes involving illegal firearms and guns being left in vehicles. According to Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody, 3 separate gun-related arrests were made. Moody credits the arrests to citizens and neighbors calling regarding suspicious activity. He is also encouraging residents to keep the streets and officers safe by practicing proper gun safety and storage. Dick Taylor and John Dobson from the Port of Shelton stopped by Daybreak to share a big announcement regarding the revitalization of the waterfront of Shelton.
Brandon Palmer came in and he's talking about the marina overhaul project down there, this Oakland Bay project. The project has just really received a $1 million grant.
Wow.
From the federal government, which brings up the total grant dollars now to 2.65?
Something like that.
Yeah, $2.5 million that we've got so far.
So what does that mean for the revitalization project?
We're looking at redoing that end of Oakland Bay. And it's we can't restore it to what it was years ago, but we can make it better for salmon enhancement growth, replacing some of the old cruddy stuff that's down there left over from years of logging, working in the logging business on the waterfront there, cleaning that up, cleaning up the waterfront itself, putting in a new boat ramp, just beautifying it, put some trails in to make the area accessible for the public.
The project will take 5 to 6 years to complete and around $8 million total. Once complete, they say it will change the whole face of downtown Shelton. Beth Snyder of Shelton is set for her coronation as Miss NPRA on February 13th. The coronation and fundraiser for Snyder starts with the doors opening at 5 p.m. in the Shelton Civic Center. Dinner follows at 6. The event includes live and silent auctions. NPRA, or Northwest Professional Rodeo Association, supports the sport of rodeo through continued growth in rodeos and membership and providing humane and competitive entertainment for the Northwest. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
The craziness is returning to the kennel.
Wiltshire behind his back with a dribble, and he scores! Got Tarnowski to his left, pulls up, shoots, scores, and a foul.
Zags basketball from IMG.
Corners, Nelson driving, baseline, and a two-handed throw down dunk. Oh my goodness, Silas Nelson!
From tip-off to the final buzzer.
And throws it down with 2 hands.
Follow the action all season long on your home for Bulldogs basketball, the Gonzaga IMG Sports Network.
Is your family doing some growing? Whether it's an expansion of your home or the addition of a new family car, Peninsula Credit Union can provide fast, friendly service with terrific rates. We offer personal lines of credit, affordable auto loans, and a variety of home loan options to get you moving. Visit our offices in Shelton, Belfair, Paulsbo, Port Orchard, and Port Townsend, or go online to pcfcu.org. At Peninsula Credit Union, our priority is you.
8:08, and it's a Thursday morning here at iFIBER One News Radio. Daybreak with Jeff and Carol. Good morning.
Good morning.
Cloudy out there. Oy, 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 oy. Allison Malushnik is in the lobby. She'll be up in just a few moments, and we're checking sports here on iFIBER One News Radio. Russell Wilson is going to be heading to University of Wisconsin once again. He'll give their commencement address on May 14th. Real happy with the progress that he's made since graduating from the University of Wisconsin. Seattle Mariners are just 2 weeks away before the start of spring training. 2 weeks away before the start of spring training. Your Seattle Mariners have signed Korean slugger Dae-Ho Lee and catcher Steve Lurid to minor league contracts. Tonight on iFIBER1NewsRadio.com, the Shelton girls basketball team taking on the Falcons of Foss with playoff implications. On the line, we'll have that game for you online on the web at iFIBER1NewsRadio.com with Sean Wells and Terry Allen right around 7 o'clock tonight. You can find those links on the website and on our Facebook page. On the radio, Gonzaga basketball for you coming our way as the Bulldogs are very close. Let's see, what's today? The 4th? And I believe February 16th, so a week from Tuesday, February 16th is the first day, Carol, they're going to do that Gonzaga men's basketball 5-part mini-series on HBO, like a reality show about Gonzaga basketball. It's going to end up right before March Madness begins on the 15th of March. That's going to be pretty exciting to get a nice behind-the-scenes look at your Gonzaga basketball. We've got them on the radio here at iFIBER1NewsRadio.com. Congratulations to Shelton's Lindsay Corey signing her letter of intent to play fast pitch at Olympic College, and Grace Phelan, who has signed her letter of intent to play women's soccer at the Evergreen State College. It's 8:11 now, and Carol has a detailed look at the forecast.
Good morning. It's 42, overcast. Chance of rain today and more rain tomorrow. Highs near 50. This weekend looks to be partly cloudy with a high of 51 on Saturday and 55 on Sunday. And right now it's 42.
Now, from the iFIBER1 News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South South's most important people. You, from business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Well, good morning to you. It's 8:11 on a Thursday morning here at iFIBER1 News Radio, and it is Daybreak with Jeff and Carol this morning, and a good morning to you.
Good morning.
Excited about this weekend. We have got a big weekend. It's some would say a super weekend. The Super Bowl's on Sunday. It starts at 11, our coverage does. Kickoff probably 3:30. I mean, that's what they say that. That's when they say it's going to start.
Kickoff. They're going to be talking as soon as they get up. Yeah. Actually, they're already talking. What can I say?
It's been weeks and weeks of this Super Bowl, and we've got 7 days to Sunday on nightly until Sunday at 10 o'clock to get us rip roaring ready to go for the Super Bowl. Carolina, Denver, young brash quarterback Cam Newton versus the old man, the old sheriff Peyton Manning. I mean, the storylines write themselves. It's going to be very exciting. The day before that, though, Saturday, we're going to be out at the Alderbrook celebrating the 7th annual Mason County Emergency Services Polar Bear Plunge. We talked with Justin and Don from the Hood Canal Lions Club earlier in the week about some of the things, and a little different look to it again. They'll have a couple waves of jumpers. In years past, they would kind of do a 15-minute horn jump. Now we're, I think, all going to rush in together. It's going to be a lot of fun, and there's some really good raffle prizes, all to help out Mason County Emergency Services. That's coming up Saturday. Next, Allison Malushnik's on the air from the Asset Building Coalition.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER1 News Radio.
Do you have financial questions you need answered but are unsure who to ask? We're here to help. Join us for ABC Mason's 3rd annual Super Saturday Financial Information Fair on February 6th at the Shelton Timberland Regional Library from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Enjoy free snacks and enter to win fabulous prizes while increasing your financial know-how. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And best of all, Super Saturday is free and open to the public. For more information about Super Saturday, visit www.abcmasoncounty.org.
Say, what's for lunch? Breakfast. No, what's for lunch? Oh, yeah, breakfast. Breakfast for lunch? Yep. Then what's for dinner? Breakfast is. I thought you said breakfast was for lunch.
Oh, I totally did.
But now you're saying breakfast is for dinner.
Oh, yeah.
So, wait, is lunch for breakfast?
No, breakfast is for breakfast. With McDonald's all-day breakfast menu, which includes the Egg McMuffin, hot cakes, and hash browns, anytime is delicious breakfast time.
Man, I'm heading to McDonald's. Have a good afternoon.
Don't you mean good morning?
I do now.
McDonald's all-day breakfast menu varies by location.
This love letter's for my sweet beauty. Your scent drives me all sorts of cray. Every time you touch my lips, ooh, how it makes my day. Rich, smooth, fresh, and steamy. Dang, you're a dream. So let me give you some sugar, and then perhaps some cream. There's no denying your love for a rich, smooth, fresh brewed McCafe. And now, get any size for just $1. A la carte only. Prices and participation may vary. Limited time offer.
The Dave Ramsey Show, where common sense meets dollars and cents.
Patrick in Texas says, my wife thinks we should have an emergency credit card. How can I explain to her that this is a terrible idea? Well, the last time on earth that you need to go into debt at 18% interest would be at a time when your family has an emergency. What you need is money. If you had $20,000 set aside for an emergency fund, you wouldn't need an emergency credit card, right?
The Dave Ramsey Show, weekdays from noon to 3 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio, KMAS.
8:15 on iFIBER ONE News Radio. It's Daybreak. I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner. Good morning.
Good morning.
We've got Allison Malushnik on the air with us now from the Asset Building Coalition. Morning, Allison.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good to see you in here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back.
We're talking about some financial fair that's coming up this upcoming weekend. Is that right?
That's right.
All right, so tell us about this.
Well, this is our third annual Super Saturday. So we're really excited. Last year we had over 60 people attend the fair. So we thought that was a big success. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
And we actually received funding from Bank On 2.0 to offer more financial fairs in Mason County. So we were really excited about that. We could do more advertising, more publicity, and we're stoked on it.
What is the Bank On 2.0?
Bank On 2.0, that's more of a national Bank On. Bank On is a program to help people who are unbanked or underbanked get into banking accounts. So especially second chance banking, a lot of people have had problems with banks in the past and find it difficult to get an account. And so Bank On, that's their mission, is to get people back into banking so that they're not spending hundreds of dollars cashing checks at Walmart or check cashing centers.
Are there a lot of people in Mason County or just in the state that don't have bank accounts?
In Mason County, I believe it's 18%, approximately 18% of our residents are unbanked or underbanked.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
It is a lot. And we're happy to have a Bank on Mason program here. And we have 3 wonderful financial institutions. It's Peninsula Credit Union, Kids Up Credit Union, and Columbia Bank. And they have been magnificent at getting people in our county banked again.
So when you go to this fair, why would you be going to this fair exactly?
Well, there are lots of reasons. First of all, Super Saturday is coinciding with AARP's free tax site first day over at the Shelton Library. So we're hoping that people will get their taxes done and come up and see us. So that's a big draw to go to the library on Saturday. We're going to have multiple agencies there, including Community Lifeline. Olympic College is going to be there to talk about FAFSA. That also is really heavily intertwined with taxes. So people need to get that done. Enterprise for Equity will be there to talk about opening small businesses, microloans, all of those great things that they have to offer. We will have Bank On representatives there to talk to people about getting into banking accounts. Habitat for Humanity is going to be there. So it's going to be wonderful. I'm really excited.
Do you find that the library is kind of a neutral zone, I suppose? The banks can be kind of intimidating for folks, especially if they don't have bank accounts.
Absolutely. I think that the library is a hub, a community center. and people feel welcomed there and comfortable. So if we're able to have conversations about things that are difficult to talk about, such as money, that's a great place to have it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I want to go to this, I need to bring what sorts of information so I can get the ball rolling?
Okay. Well, it depends. Do you want to do taxes or not? If you want to do taxes, you've got to bring a few things.
Okay.
We recommend people bring Social Security cards for each person on their tax return. They need to bring their photo identification. They need all their tax documents for 2015. They also need statements of sources of income. And last year's tax return makes it helpful as well. So those are a couple things to bring. If you want to come see us over upstairs, if you are interested in signing up for Medicaid, Mason General will be there to help sign up for Medicaid. Great. So if you would bring tax information or those pieces so that we could get you signed up, that would be great too. Otherwise, it's just coming, hanging out, and seeing what we have to offer.
I'm reading on our website that has information about this. You talked about the Medicaid. Is that also with the in-person assister for the health plan finder?
Yes. Unfortunately, though, the health plan finder is the date's over.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's right.
So
it did end.
It did end. But you can sign up for Medicaid anytime you need to. So she's there. We'll have Susanna there to help, and also to answer questions about the health plan finder. Sure. Because it will come around again soon, and if you need information, she'll be there.
It is from 10 to 2 at the Shelton Timberland Regional Library in Alder Street. Are there ideas to have this more throughout the year? Are you thinking if this is going to work out well, we do it again, another and another?
Absolutely. And actually, I'm working with Patty Kleist at Faith in Action to have a fair at the Hub in May. So we'll actually be in North Mason soon, which is really exciting.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So this is all about the Asset Building Coalition. And then talk to us a little bit about just that organization, the coalition in general. Do you guys have a building that people can go to and learn more, or what's your website?
Our website is abcmasoncounty.org. We're located over at Community Lifeline.
Okay.
So I'm there with the clients.
Yeah.
They're in the action, which is great. Talking a little bit about asset building, we have 4 major programs. One of them is EITC and free tax awareness. We do that every year. That's part of our grant with the Department of Commerce. We have the Bank On program, which I've already talked about. We do financial literacy classes, and we also have financial mentoring. And so I've been working with the shelters here in town to financially mentor people who are homeless or transitioning into permanent housing. And that program has been very successful, and we're super proud of it. And that was something new that we added about 2 years ago.
Wow, that is really cool. And so you go over there, and when you're at the community lifeline there, is that during the dinners and things like that you can walk around and talk with people if they have questions?
Sometimes. I have a limited schedule right now, though. I am at Crossroads Housing on Mondays for a big 4-hour block, and I work with clients during that time. All the other clients that we have from the other shelters, we just set up a time that works for the client and myself, and we'll meet wherever's convenient for us.
Very good.
Yeah.
The Asset Building Coalition, their financial fair this upcoming weekend, 10 to 2 at the library on Alder Street. For more information, Allison, your phone number 401-9808.
Yep, I have a cell phone, so you can call me anytime.
And abcmasoncounty.org. Thank you very much. This is... Oh, look at that. Looking at the picture on ABC Mason County of you and Congressman Denny Heck from the 10th District.
Oh, absolutely. Denny's a big supporter.
A big supporter.
What a great resource to have. Absolutely.
Yeah, both of the guys. Derek Kilmer calls in once a month or so. He seems like he's really keyed in on this as well.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
Yes.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, guys.
Good to see you. We'll see you next time.
Good to see you.
8:22 now at iFIBER 1. We'll take a break. When we come back, Marilyn Foster has the latest in local news in a few moments. And then after that, we'll check the morning stock numbers and have ABC Sports for you as well. It's all coming up at Daybreak on iFIBER 1 News Radio.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER 1 News Radio.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom31.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom31.com. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom31.com.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Good morning to you. It's 8:25 here at iFIBER ONE. Sean Wells coming in here in a few moments. We'll be talking sports with him, our sports director. He'll be on the iFIBER ONE Newsradio.com beat tonight as the Shelton High Climber girls take on the Foss Falcons. And these girls have a potential to make it into the playoffs with a win tonight. And with that hopeful win, we'll have information about where they'll surface next on the hardwoods.
What's going on over
I
there,
don't know.
Spiky?
I've got one of these. You ever seen these easy corrects? It's not whiteout. You remember whiteout? It was a paint that you put on paper. Well, I don't know if people were drinking that or what, but then they got rid of it, and now there's this tape.
Yeah, but who even uses that stuff anymore?
Well, not me, apparently, because I don't know what I'm doing.
I mean, everything's
I'm trying
online.
to white out some documents that I have I'm trying to redact some things.
Yes,
for
top
us.
secret.
Top secret information.
My.
Now I just have it everywhere. Whatever. It is 8:25 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio, and a good morning to you. I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner, and the Plunge coming up this weekend. Gonzaga on the radio tonight. Girls basketball on the website as well, high def.
Gala on Saturday night.
And the gala there at the Alderbrook for the folks involved with the North Mason Chamber. That's going to be a lot of
We'll get a report from Dale next week. On how it went.
That's right. Dale will be on. You and Dale will be on the air together next week. I'm going to head down. President's Day weekend, my favorite holiday of the year. Celebrate.
Yes.
Whatever. But it is President's Day coming up shortly. I'm going to be heading
Are
out
you
of town.
campaigning?
Campaigning for more days off, I think. 8:27, and the morning stock numbers are coming up in just a few moments here on iFIBER ONE News Radio. Saturday night, we got a GOP debate for you. They're in New Hampshire. Oh, man, did you hear Jeb the other day? Jeb, exclamation point. He was giving a speech to, I don't know, what looked like about 25 people or so. He was getting really riled up. I felt he did pretty good at that last debate that Trump wasn't at. Then he didn't do so hot in the returns. Well, he's in New Hampshire now vying for the vote, and he gets up and he's given a really powerful speech. And he's like, rah, 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 rah. And the crowd just sits there, and he goes, please clap. I swear. You can Google, please clap.
He needs to vet his guests next time.
And they all kind of woke up a little and started clapping.
You're on TV. We're being recorded.
It's not so bad for him.
Show some enthusiasm.
I mean, he's got...
Why is he even in the race?
Well, because
did he think he was
feels
gonna?
As though he can take the country in a better direction than it has been in the last 8 years. That's why everybody's running. And he's got a great legacy, which I think is probably hurting him. He did well for himself in Florida. Him and Marco Rubio were best buds down there. When Jeb gave up I don't know if he was the Speaker of the House and then became governor or however that worked, when Marco Rubio came into that slot, he passed off to him like a family heirloom, this sword, this special sword that I think was in the Bush family for a long time. He goes, here you go, Marco. This was from a great conservative leader, something, and you'll do great with it. And so that's kind of a...
Well, now they don't seem to be...
Now they're not friends at all, and Bush now doesn't have the
Wish
sword.
he never gave the sword or used the sword.
Probably should have used the sword. Who knows? So pretty interesting as we move closer and closer to South Carolina primaries after this New Hampshire one. And we saw it. People dropping like flies. Santorum drops. Rand Paul drops. Probably Christie drops after the votes on Tuesday. Carson and that Ted Cruz thing where Ted Cruz's camp sent out the notes that Carson was suspending his campaign when so I guess at one of the caucus sites, when you go up there and make your case, you plead your case to caucus for the person. Dr. Carson's wife went to a place and she had to spend her whole time convincing the people that he was still running instead of say, hey, Ben is a great guy. He's a great husband. I love him. And here's what he can do for. She spent the whole time having to convince his supporters that he actually was still in the race because they had been getting tweets out from the Ted Cruz campaign. It's really strange.
Social media will get you every time.
It does get you every time. 8:29 with the latest in local news from Marilyn Foster coming up in just a few moments. ABC Sports after that. And then Sean Wells is in to talk with us about some local sports that are happening. And here on the phone now from Edward Jones, Karen Shade. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Thursday.
Thursday.
Woo!
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
How's it going on Wall Street?
Wall Street's good today. It is good. U.S. stocks have reversed early losses and are trading higher as crude oil climbed above $33 a barrel. In economic news, the number of Americans filing applications for unemployment benefits rose last week as employers continued to adjust staffing levels following the holidays. Separate data shows U.S. non-farm productivity fell in the fourth quarter at its fastest pace in more than a year, leading to a jump in labor-related production costs. U.S. bond prices are trending higher after the disappointing economic data. So far this morning, the S&P 500, the best performing sector is basic materials, while the worst performing sector is telecom. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 98 points at 16,434. The Standard & Poor's 500 Index is up 12 points at 1,924. And the NASDAQ Composite Index is up 15 points at 4,520. This morning, volume on the New York Stock Exchange is high, with about 344 million shares being traded, and advancers are outnumbering decliners by roughly 3-to-1 margin. In the commodity markets, the spot price of gold is up $10.49 to $1,153.14. The spot price of silver is up 15 cents to $14.84, and crude oil prices are up 89 cents to $33.17. The 30-year Treasury yield is currently 2.71%, and the 10-year Treasury yield is currently 1.87%. Stocks of local interest: Amazon is down $1.90, Costco is down $4.20, Boeing is up $1.82, Starbucks is down $1.33, and Microsoft is down 40 cents. This is Karen Shade of Edward Jones, a member SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and long-term financial advice. I'm located at 1051 Southeast State Route 3 in Shelton, and if you'd like additional information, you can contact me at 426-4590, and daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
All right, Karen, thank you much. It is 8:31 now, and the latest in local news on the way, brought to you this time by Fred Holmes Tree Service.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. 10 Washington counties, including Clallam, Grays Harbor, Lewis, and Mason, will receive federal assistance in connection with the December storm system that produced heavy rains, high winds, flooding, and landslides. The declaration makes available FEMA's public assistance program for the 10 counties and provides grants for hazard mitigation efforts statewide. Governor Jay Inslee thanked President Obama for quickly approving the major disaster declaration request. He says the storm resulted in damage in excess of $19 million. The first month of 2016 in Shelton marked a significant increase in crimes involving illegal firearms and guns being left in vehicles. According to Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody, 3 separate gun-related arrests were made. Moody credits the arrests to citizens and neighbors calling regarding suspicious activity. He is also encouraging residents to keep the streets and officers safe by practicing proper gun safety and storage. Dick Taylor and John Dobson from the Port of Shelton stopped by Daybreak to share a big announcement regarding the revitalization of the waterfront of Shelton.
Brandon Palmer came in, and he's talking about the marina overhaul project down there, this Oakland Bay project. The project has just really received a $1 million grant.
Wow.
From the federal government, which brings up the total grant dollars now to 2.65?
Something like that.
Yeah, $2.5 million that we've got so far.
So what does that mean for the revitalization project?
We're looking at redoing that end of Oakland Bay. And it's we can't restore it to what it was years ago, but we can make it better for salmon enhancement growth, replacing some of the old cruddy stuff that's down there left over from years of logging, working in the logging business on the waterfront there, cleaning that up, cleaning up the waterfront itself, putting in a new boat ramp, just beautifying it, put some trails in to make the area accessible for the public.
The project will take 5 to 6 years to complete and around $8 million total. Once complete, they say it will change the whole face of downtown Shelton. Beth Snyder of Shelton is set for her coronation as Miss NPRA on February 13th. The coronation and fundraiser for Snyder starts with the doors opening at 5 p.m. in the Shelton Civic Center. Dinner follows at 6. The event includes live and silent auctions. NPRA, or Northwest Professional Rodeo Association, supports the sport of rodeo through continued growth in rodeos and membership and providing humane and competitive entertainment for the Northwest. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
Science Fantastic with Professor Michio Kaku. Saturdays at 5, Sundays at 6 on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Because of the fact there's been a revolution in paleontology with regards to how we view the dinosaurs. When I was a kid, we learned the dinosaurs were cold-blooded, lumbering creatures, kind of dim-witted. They didn't nurture their young, and that's why they went extinct. They were simply too stupid. Well, now we realize that we were pretty much wrong in how we view dinosaurs.
Well, good morning to you. It's 8:36 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio, Daybreak. I'm Jeff Lakey along with Carol Gardner. Good morning.
Good morning.
We'll get to the weather in a moment. We're going to have a detailed conversation here with Sean Wells. What are we looking at right now in the forecast, though, for folks as they get ready to head off to work?
It's about 42 and overcast.
Whoa, it looks like rain tomorrow, huh? Okay, Sean Wells is on the radio with us, and let's say good morning to him. Hello, sir.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Doing well. Like to hear about all these letters of intent. Kids deciding to move on to higher education.
Yeah, a ton of local kids going out there signing football scholarships, soccer scholarships. Yeah, very exciting day yesterday, Wednesday, National Letter of Intent Day. One player I want to point out, the Huskies signed Capital punter Van Soderberg, and he's a big kid. Chris Peterson, the head coach of the Huskies, had a good quote on him yesterday. Said, according to coaches at Capital, he could have played linebacker if he wanted to. Could bench press close to 300 pounds.
Oh my gosh!
But he is going to punt at UW, so don't expect to see him at linebacker. A couple kids from Timberline. Jaron Bush is going to Central Washington. Yuli Mai is going to Cal State Chico. 2 kids from Tumwater. Hunter Haggerty is going to Central. Eastern Trucol is going to Utah State, I think. Olympia, Brett Thompson's going to Eastern. David Woodward's going to Utah State. So, yeah, a big day for a lot of these kids. So a fun-packed and exciting day yesterday.
So is there any way you can tell the future of Husky football or the future of Cougar football just by looking at these letters of intent?
Well, you never know how a kid's going to pan out.
Right.
I mean, you have a vision for these players, and you say, okay, hopefully, a lot of coaches like to have these guys come in red shirt, sit a year, learn the offense or the defense. So it depends on what position they're playing. But there's a vision and a plan for these kids. But, you never know if they're going to pan out. Some of these coaches always say they don't like these star rankings that are on these recruiting sites.
Yeah.
These 3 stars, 4 stars. Chris Peterson's on record of saying, hey, I wish they do away with the stars because they don't really mean anything. But this class for UW did have a lot of high-star players, and WSU also had a really good class. So we'll see how it pans out.
Last night, 2 nights ago, you were at the Mini Dome for a little High Climber girls basketball action. They're on again tonight on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.com with you and Terry right around 7 o'clock, taking on Foss. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, a huge game tonight. If they win this game and Mount Tahoma loses to Lincoln tonight, then Shelton will be in the playoffs.
Wow.
For the first time, we think, in 12 years.
Wow.
So that would be a huge, huge victory for Shelton. They won a game, as you mentioned, on Tuesday night. They took down North Thurston 54-53. They had to win that game to keep their playoff hopes alive. Timber Ware, the freshman, had 22 points for Shelton. And, just a nail-biter finish. They were down by 1, got a bucket from Paige Johnson, took the lead up by 1, and then a foul with 1 second remaining set North Thurston to the free throw line, and they shot 2 free throws. If they would have made them both, they would have won the game.
Yeah.
Missed them both.
Wow.
So Shelton hung on there.
This weekend, you're going to be out and about looking at some other sports notes for us. Where are you going to be?
This weekend we have the South Puget Sound Central Community College, is hosting Lower Columbia. So I'll be there on Saturday checking them out. They have a couple girls here from Shelton on the team.
Oh.
So it'll be fun to see them. And then later that night, the Artesians.
Yeah.
Your neck of the woods,
That's
the
right.
Indoor Soccer League. They're hosting Vancouver, I believe. So I'll be fun to go out and see them for the first time.
Oh, so you'll be at that game?
I will be.
Come and say hi. I'll be there too. PA at the Pavilion at Evergreen State College. Kick right around 6 o'clock. It's a lot of fun. Indoor soccer, man, fast pace.
That's what I hear. A lot of goals.
The goalie last week blocked 28 shots.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
There are a lot of shots on goal on these small indoor soccer league fields, and they bounce around, and it is something to see. Just 2 home games left here in the regular season for them.
Fun stuff.
Very nice. So we'll know more about the Shelton girls basketball playoff picture tonight after the horn sounds.
That will be clear tonight, so make sure you tune into our website tomorrow as we'll have video highlights from tonight's game, and also try to clear up that playoff race and let you know if Shelton's going to advance.
Before I let you go here, we got to move on to our next segment of Focus on Shelton, but I do want to talk a little bit about this mixed, the split league or the league standings that we've been talking about, kind of trying to understand the schools that want to move into different leagues has kind of come a little clearer for us.
Yeah, so there was that talk about having 16 teams in the SPSL, but now it looks like they've split into 2 different leagues. One will be the Pierce County League, and that will have Bethel, Bonnie Lake, Lakes High School, Lincoln, Mount Tahoma, Spanaway Lake Stadium, and Wilson. And then the other league does not have a name yet to be announced, but that would be Capital, Central Kitsap, Gig Harbor, North Thurston, Peninsula, Shelton, Timberline, and Yelm. So Capital thought about joining the Greater St. Helens League, but now they're back in and staying with this, I guess, it won't be called the Narrows League anymore, but it's pretty similar. So we'll see what that league name is. That should come out here in a few days. But it's good to see these local teams sticking together somewhat and keeping these rivalries intact.
Carol, I remember last week we were talking about those people, the parents of Capital, who posted something on the Facebook, and it seemed like after I read that, there was a lot of movement to bring Capital back in. Do you think that had anything to do with it?
I think the parents definitely had a say in this. They realized, hey, we don't want to be driving down to Vancouver for games on a Tuesday and a Wednesday night.
Sure.
That's just that's a lot of effort for these kids, taking away time from, they could be studying, who knows, and parents don't want to have to make that drive just to watch their kids play.
Yeah.
So, I think that definitely had a say. And I think overall, this is where Capital belongs in this league here with these teams, these Olympia teams and Shelton, and it's good to have these rivalries stay together, and I think it's just a good fit for all these teams.
Oh, very nice.
Is there going to be any shakeups in the other, like 4A or 2A.
Olympia, there was talk of them moving down, but they were able to stay in 4A. They just made the numbers to be able to stay in 4A. They're one of the smallest 4A schools, but they're going to stay. But yeah, not a lot of shakeups in 4A. Some teams moving around in the SPSL, but yeah, most of the shakeups were down here in 3A, but there were over 20 teams that did move up to 4A. So very interesting this time around. As we had mentioned a couple weeks ago, the cycle has changed from 2 years to 4 years now for reclassification. So these schools want to make sure they're in the right place for the long haul.
8:43. Sean Wells, thank you much. We'll again hear from you tonight on iFIBER1newsradio.com. We'll take a break now. When we come back, Police Chief Darren Moody helps us focus on Shelton this morning. It's 8:44.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER1 News Radio.
Put high rates on the chopping block. We're cooking up a deal at our community credit union with 1% cash back and no payments for 90 days. If you have an auto, boat, RV, personal, or any other type of consumer loan, feast on this. For a limited time, we'll treat you to 1% cash back instantly when you move your loan to our community credit union. Don't wait. Apply online at ourcu.com or visit a branch location: Shelton, Union, McClary, Elma, Montesano, or Vashon. Join Hood Canal Lions Club and iFIBER1 News Radio for the 7th annual Polar Bear Plunge. All proceeds go to Mason County emergency workers. The fun begins at 11 this Saturday at Alderbrook Resort on beautiful Hood Canal. Here's your chance to help support the emergency workers and volunteers of Mason County. And this year's proceeds will help the Mason County Search and Rescue Dive Unit. Don't miss the 7th annual Hood Canal Lions Polar Bear Plunge.
Hi guys, Kat here with iFIBER1 News Radio. What if I told you that radio advertising is far more effective than print media? Think about all of your customers driving to work, appointments, or events, all the while listening to the radio. Imagine your commercial airs on iFIBER1 News Radio and the customer decides, hey, I'm right by there. I'm going to go check it out. Radio captures you and literally speaks to you and your customers several times a day. This enables you to build a unique message that reminds your customers what you have to offer. Remember, your customers can either drive to you or through you. And here at iFIBER1 News Radio, we want to direct customers to you. Being the only talk radio formatted station in the entire South Sound region, we have an entire new market for your business to advertise in. As your sales lady, I take pride in providing your business with the best advertising because I want your business to succeed. So call me today at 360-463-2558 and ask for Kat.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER1 News Radio, KMAS.
All right, good morning to you. It's 8:46 at iFIBER1 News Radio. I'm Jeff Lakey with Carol Gardner, and in studio now, Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody. Good morning, Darren.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning. Good.
We have you in today to focus on Shelton after we got a story from you, a press release about the first couple months of the first month, actually, I guess it's just been January, marked a significant increase in crimes involving illegal firearms and guns being left in vehicles. Is that correct?
Yeah, in just the 1 month period. And then after I wrote that, we recovered 2 more stolen guns.
Really?
So, I mean, in 1 month, we recovered somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 or 7 stolen guns. And 3 of those in the hands of people that shouldn't have had them.
And these are mostly being left in the vehicle.
Either in a car or a residential burglary. And they're not all stolen from Shelton. But the theme in this is, you know, if you're going to have a gun, store it correctly, know how to use it. You know, I'm a firm believer that if you're going to carry a gun or have a gun, you get some training behind it. You learn how to store it, keep it, those type of things.
So are these firearms, when you investigate this story, were they left on a front seat, or was it somebody was going to steal the car and the gun was in there additionally, or how did that work out?
Both. You know, somebody had 2 shotguns in a car that was stolen, and now this person has a stolen car and 2 shotguns. Now, why on earth you're driving around in a car out in a casino parking lot with 2 shotguns in the back? I don't know. And then other one is, just a gun left in a car. There's stories within the last couple months that are amazing. We had a person call us one morning and say, there's a handgun sitting out in the middle of my street. Can you come get it? We go over there to pick it up. We find out it's registered to somebody in that neighborhood. And we call the guy up, and he comes to our office, and he says, I leave it in my car most of the time, but I was probably taking it out, and I put it on top of my car and drove off and forgot it. A handgun.
Is that illegal?
Not necessarily. If you have a concealed weapons permit, again, I'm not infringing on rights of people to carry their guns. If that's what you choose to do, that's your business, but do it safely. And, we had somebody come in our office and say, I'm reporting my gun stolen. Where did it get stolen from? My center console. Well, when did it get stolen? Sometime between November and now. You haven't checked in 3 months? Wow. No, I just usually leave it in my center console all the time. And so we don't even know where that was stolen from. And so it's those type of things where you want to tell people, store it safely, do it safely. It's no different than I tell people all the time when they leave their laptop sitting on the front seat or their iPhone sitting out. You're just asking for trouble. And now you have a deadly weapon in there. And unfortunately, 3 of those we recovered were in the hands of drug dealers. Guys with narcotics that are on traffic stops with an officer. Now you've put other people at risk, the officers at risk. So it's just a situation that can be avoided.
One of the guns one of the stories says the guns was stolen from the port of Seattle.
Yes.
Do you have any idea how it made it way down here?
No, I don't. But I can tell you that, one of the other issues we look at is our stolen cars. When we get cars stolen, a lot of times those cars are just used for transport. The old days of they're stripping the car down, they're removing all the stuff, that happens. But generally, most of the cars that are getting stolen in cities now are used as transport. And so it's not unusual for somebody to be stealing a car in Olympia or Seattle and driving it down here and dealing in stolen goods, narcotics or whatever, dumping a car here and stealing one here and driving it back.
Wow. Other than just knowing where you keep your guns or last put them, what else can people do? And what can you do anything more than just what we're doing now, talking and raising awareness? Can you do anything to encourage people to be a little safer with these?
Well, we can do, like I said, talking, crime prevention tools, things like that. But most of it's just general awareness of realize what you're dealing with here. You're dealing with a deadly weapon. And unfortunately, if you are a gun owner and you have that gun in your car or your house, you are much more likely to be the victim and have that gun out there from a theft than you are to probably use it to save your life.
Sure.
And so a gun owner leaves their car on the gun on top of their car and drives off. I've done that with a coffee cup.
Yes.
Not a gun. The gun gets picked up by a child.
Exactly.
Is it the gun owner's responsible?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's...
civilly and criminally.
Yeah.
Can be. There are different things that can happen. But it's, like I said, it's just awareness, just general awareness. As an officer, I can carry a gun 24/7, on duty, off duty. I'll be honest with you. There are times I do and times I don't, just based on the circumstances of where I'm at, what I'm at. And I think about it, and in almost 30 years of law enforcement, there had been twice off duty where, and I thought, it's almost more trouble than it's worth. Because now what? Now I've got the gun. Now I've just brought a gun to a fight.
Right.
So it's a tough road to go down. Like I said, not infringing anybody's rights. You have the right to carry your gun. You have the right to own a gun. Just do it safely. Get some training and education behind it.
So would you suggest, if it fits, put in your glove compartment, or if you're going to carry it with you in your car? Or
I'd suggest carrying it on you. Concealed weapons permit says that. Concealed weapons permit. People get one and then they just throw it in their glove box, or they throw it in their center console of the car.
So you should really just carry it on you. Okay.
I think you're much safer doing it that way. Because you forget it. How many times do you forget your wallet in the car? How many times do you forget other things in your car?
Sure.
And cars get broken into on a daily basis.
Is it hard to talk about these issues in public? We're a super political climate right now with guns and things like that.
Yes, we are.
Any kind of conversation, it always seems to quickly devolve into, well, you're just trying to take my guns away, or something to that effect. Is it difficult to breach these topics?
It is, and especially in law enforcement, they say, well, you're safe all the time. You carry your gun with you everywhere you go.
Sure.
My family doesn't. You know, I don't tell them you need to carry a gun everywhere you go. I don't put a gun in every car I own. Again, you can, under the umbrella of gun control, go so many debates. And I'm not about gun control. I'm about just do it safely, smart, educate yourself, train yourself. I firmly believe if you're going to get a concealed weapons permit, go get some training behind it. Know what you're doing with that gun and how to operate that gun. Gun retention. I was shopping at Walmart one day. I'm walking along, and I see a guy in front of me, and he's got a gun tucked into his back of his pants, just hanging out there. And I asked him, you know, as a citizen to a citizen, I just said, do you just carry your gun like that because you can? And he says, well, I have a concealed weapons permit. I said, somebody's going to pull it out of your back.
Yeah, it's right. It's not concealed.
You know?
I can see it.
He's pushing a stroller with a gun hanging out of his back. And I'm thinking, that's probably not best gun retention. And when I talk about gun retention, as officers, we go through, what if somebody grabs my gun? What do I do? And as a citizen, you need to be aware of that. What if somebody grabs your gun? What do you do now? So a little training and education goes a long way.
Right. Jeff just went to a.
I did. I just learned. I've never held a handgun. I never shot a handgun before. A couple weeks ago, I went up north, and it really opened my eyes to a whole range of these things that I had no idea about. Proper holster fit, and not getting one that's the cheapest one, and you have to shove it in there versus one that's like molded directly to the firearm that you own. It's really interesting.
I can't tell you how many times over the years I have gone to calls of accidental gunshot victims that have shot themselves, putting it in and out of their pockets, in and out of their holsters. And again, it's training and education. And I just think that is we have to go through what to get a driver's license.
Exactly.
You know,
it's a lot.
And to get a gun, I can walk down the street and buy it. Again, not touting one way or the other. I'm saying do it, but do it smart with education and training behind it.
I was really surprised to find out that it didn't come with a custom holster for that. I mean, you're spending hundreds of dollars on this.
Sometimes
firearm, thousands on a firearm, and then you go and you say, well, I'm just going to get the cheapo vinyl or whatever.
If you even get one.
If you even get a holster.
Right.
Pretty interesting. Does the Shelton Police Department offer any information or training for firearm safety?
We do not, but I was approached by somebody this last weekend when I spoke at a safety training about maybe it's time, and I haven't even had the conversation with him, so I'm sure he's listening out there, but maybe it's time the sheriff and I got together and said, you know what? Let's put on some type of firearm safety courses or something like that we can get these folks into. There are private ones out there, I know, and I have no idea what they entail or what they go through. But maybe it's time we just educate. You know, that being said, in that same article, I did mention Neighborhood Watch. We haven't had Neighborhood Watch programs in Shelton in years. And it's good news. I got phone calls on that. I've got my first Neighborhood Watch group meeting next Friday. I've gotten phone calls saying I want to start a Neighborhood Watch in my area.
Great.
And so the first one is next Friday. I was excited to be invited to that, and we're going to kick it off and see how many neighborhoods we can get.
Did you have a lot of those in Fullerton? Fairfield?
Yes, we did. There, fortunately, we had a Neighborhood Watch crime prevention coordinator that could do it all.
Sure.
Well, I lost my lieutenant about
a
few months ago, so it falls on my lap.
Hey, Les, what are you doing?
Yes. You know, and we look at it, and we're doing some good things. It's not going to stop us from where we're going and what we're doing in the city, but I can tell you the staffing levels that we have now are lower than they've been since 1994.
Wow. Well, that sounds like another conversation for another day.
Yeah, but we'll keep moving forward and doing the things we're doing.
Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody, thank you so much for coming in.
You bet.
Always great to talk with you here. 8:57 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. It is Daybreak. We'll take a quick break here from the Old Farmer. When we come back, we'll put the wraps on this Thursday morning here on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
If you believe that good things come in small packages, this is your month. Our February preview today on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Monday, February 1st, the 32nd day of the year. Lisa Marie Presley celebrates a birthday, and Frank Sinatra was recording his first session with the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra on this day in 1940. by the way he got the job. Our shortest month is not quite so short this year. It's a year divisible by 4, so one more day gets tacked on to February this year. Groundhogs, presidents, and romance all take the spotlight. But don't forget the other worthy observances. It's Black History Month, Wild Bird Feeding Month, and Potato Lovers Month. The flower of February is the violet, and if you were born in February, your birthstone is the amethyst. Wearing one is said to give you courage and prevent insomnia. That is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. You can always learn more about February online at almanac.com.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
All right, good morning to you. It is Daybreak. Got about half a minute here left. That was a great conversation with Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody. Great information. Really learning a lot, opening my eyes to the different aspects of gun ownership and the responsibilities that comes with that. You can find that story again under the iFIBER1newsradio.com website, and the headline there for that is "Gun Crime Results in 3 Arrests." Pretty interesting stuff.
Very interesting stuff, and you have a whole new outlook on it.
I really do, and I learned a lot in this conversation we just had, and then at my time up learning a little bit more about handguns and that whole deal. All right, so we've got a great iFIBER1newsradio.com video cast of high school basketball tonight. On the radio, we got Gonzaga basketball. Tomorrow's Friday. Woo! Man. All right.
TGIF.
Have a good one.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Dave Ramsey helps you handle your money. Weekdays from